Welcome once again, all Warhammers and Warhammies, to the best episode of the Big M Power Hour to date. I am your host, Big M, along with my special cohort, Cole.
Hello, everybody. How you doing?
They say they're doing fine.
I'm sure they are. We're all very happy right now.
Yeah.
3.0 just came out. It's a wonderful time.
Yeah, it's an exciting new frontier. I
Yes,
feel
it
like
is.
this is exactly what everyone felt like while we were in the middle of our Manifest Destiny heading west.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exact same feeling without the call.
Same.
That's
Yes.
well, so once again, we found ourselves in a place where we have a lot of news to cover, and we don't want to keep you for too much over the 2 hour mark. So we're going to start off with the rumor engine. We're just going to skip news altogether.
Yeah.
Most of it
Nothing
was
really happened. It's fine.
well, most of it was hype for. Most of everything was just hype for 3.0 and the Dominion
Right.
box and everything like that. So we're going to talk about all that anyways. So
Right.
all right, so we're going to start off with our palette cleanser. All right, so the first thing we got going on is a Skelly Boy with a W carved into his skull.
Yeah. I'm not entirely certain what this W rune would represent. I think
Walter.
it is. That was his name. Yeah, that's got to be it.
No, it's
Or Walter.
It's Walter the Necromancer has laid claim upon him.
That's it exactly. Okay, so this is obviously a Death Army. This guy,
So
I feel like he's strapped to the back of something big.
yeah, I feel like that they made this look so obviously a death model that I
To
think
not make it death.
that there's up to something. Like,
Mhm.
I do think that it is tilted because the flames are all kind of going upwards
Yeah, yeah.
or in that angle. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is like, I don't know, like I want to say like a chaos thing, but like you might be able to get away with the candles with Slanesh, but the metal bars would definitely aren't.
No, not for Slanesh. Zinch has some flames in them, but yeah, they aren't really that big into metalworking either.
Yeah,
So,
they're big friends of the Egyptian
yeah,
architecture there. So I guess I'm gonna have to say it's gonna be a death thing. But again, I guess like with this day and age,
right,
we need to get a little more specific.
right.
Um,
Yeah, we've got so much death right now.
so I'm
Hmm,
going to say I have no idea. It's a death thing.
yeah, it's death. Sorry, not that good at this. Don't
All
know my death well enough.
right, moving
Um,
on. So we got the one now. Let me see when this is from. This is the June 15th one.
you want to see how good I am at this? It's another death thing.
Yeah. Well, at least this one gives us a little bit more. This is
Right.
either a vampire or night haunt.
I think it is a vampire of some sort.
I do too.
I
The
think
only
this is
reason.
like on a throne or something like that.
Well, so here's what I was thinking. Again, it's so on the nose that there
Right.
has to be some sort of loop. And so what
Where's the curveball?
I think you're close. I think you're close. I think this is going to be a new like side game. It's
Okay.
gonna be a new box game about like a bowling game.
A
And so like
bowling game.
yeah, so with here it's gonna be all death factions and they're all gonna be bowling with like skulls. And so that's him picking up his skull at the ball return. I think that's
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. I think we got a little far for me. I agree with the fact that it could be another box game. I think it is the Cursed City stuff that will be renamed definitely not Cursed City whenever that finally comes out.
City of
Is
the
going
Undead.
to. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, honestly, I do hope it is vampires because I would love to see. Again, I always feel bad whenever I talk like this because again, I always come from this weird cross area between narrative and competitive
Hmm.
because like the book is fine. I mean, I think the
Right.
book is doing very well.
I think
Um,
it'll be fine. Yeah.
but like narratively, I'd like a little more, like a little bit more original vampires.
I don't disagree with you. I definitely would want more vampires in the vampire book, not just like all the undead stuff crammed into one.
Yeah,
I kind of want, let's get weird and give me more weird vampires. I'll
yeah.
be okay with it.
All right, so moving on to the 22nd. Looks like a
Hmm.
bone scrunchie, maybe?
Yeah, bone scrunchie. This makes me think orc, the
Orc.
bone scrunchie. Yeah, between
Oh,
the bone scrunchie and like that ponytail deal going on with it, kind of makes me think kind of 40k orcish in that way.
well,
But I don't think it's. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like the brow is not broad enough to be an orky brow. I feel like this might be, well, I think I'm more hoping. I'm hoping that it's like a
Okay.
one of the feral wolfy vampires on a mount. Um,
Okay.
but I like with that, whatever that is, holding that ponytail in, it doesn't read as vampire to me.
No, it doesn't read that to me at all.
But
And
if you
like,
like, just put your thumb over it.
okay,
Audience at home, put your thumb over it. Now, huh? A little bit more.
I suppose it's that pauldron or whatever for armor is
I
off
don't think
to
that's
the
armor.
left.
I think
I think
that
that's bone.
I think that is a mount.
Hmm. I don't know. It's reading like chipped armor to me right now.
That's
But
true. Could be a Primarch.
boy, yeah, we could really reach for the stars right now. Okay. Damn.
It's Russ. That's what it is. This is the
Yes, that's
first
who
one.
it is. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, this one's a rough one as well. So we're moving on to the 29th here.
All right.
All right. Um, I know every time there's some sort of techie thing, I always say KO.
Mhm.
But this looks like KO.
Okay, I'll give you KO. I will also raise you more of the vampire hunters, like the father daughter.
Well, the only thing I see is I think at the bottom, I think that's a like a torn girdle almost. Girder, not girdle. Steel
Hmm.
like an iron girder.
No, I'll give you that. Yeah. Okay.
Um, and then like these like I don't know what you want to call them sprocket pieces seem a
Hmm.
little too like if you took out the sprocket pieces I'd be like okay, but with the
Yeah.
sprockets with the iron girder it just seems like it's something somewhat techy. So whether it's KO
Right.
or the inevitable Grungni's reclaimers, that's
Right. Do you think that there's anything in like the text above it here? It says we'd love to tell you, but the uh, eviscerator assassin that watches over us while we work won't let us. Is that trying to tell us it's a
oh
40k
it
thing? Maybe.
it could be an assassin.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Is it 40k and this is what they're trying to,
That's
you know,
true. Yeah. So
hint
I'm gonna
hint.
say either an assassin or a new dwarf.
Okay,
Very
I'll
similar
give you
things.
that.
On to the sixth.
Yeah,
Well,
this is
this is definitely part of a new metal bird head army
yes, obviously, yeah,
for both
because
40k and
nothing,
AOS.
yes, neither of those two IPs use anything having to do with an eagle's head at all. So who knows what it could be? Yeah, no, it's either something for the Imperium of Man over in 40k, or maybe a city's army that's like worshiping Sigmar more, and this is like some sort of temple thing they've built.
Do you think it could be the potential first look to a Dawnbringer Crusade army?
It's not a terrible idea. That would kind of explain what our first and second one as well. That could be something that we saw for the one from the eighth as well. Then
Yeah, that's true.
Dawnbringer Crusade could be that one as well,
That's true.
and
I'd be
that'd be
willing to
somebody
accept that.
who's repented. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's not a bad idea. I feel like there was a W in Old World.
I don't know the old world well enough,
I'll have to
well
bother
enough to let
Chuck
you
for that
know.
one.
Yeah, get on him. He might have an idea.
All right, let's bring us on over back here.
Sure.
All right. So yeah. So as far as that goes, um, this past month we know that Dominion box set came out.
Yeah.
Third edition came out with it.
Yep.
We
Exciting stuff.
we went over to Neil's house and had a game day,
Hmm.
and we went to Atlantic City Open, which
Yep.
all were spoilers, phenomenal things.
Yeah. No, they were all great time. Last games of 2.0 and first games of 3.0. It's been great.
Yeah, yeah, that's well. So let's go and start off with the ACO. I'm
Yeah.
very certain. Like I said, I'm not 100%, so I always like to preface
Mhm.
with that. I'm 99% certain that this is something they want to do annually. Um,
Oh yeah. Definitely.
if
Sorry.
you can get, it's fine. You're off the podcast. It's fine. If you can get yourself to Jersey, if you can be okay with that part of yourself knowing that you've been in Jersey,
Yeah.
uh, you should try to make the time. It's a great venue, a lot of open spaces. Um, there's a Flavor Town in the cafeteria.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. That was a good time.
Yeah, I said it was great. I think Frontline Gaming did a great job. I think friend of the
Yeah.
show Martin did a great job as well.
Yes, he
Uh,
did. Shout out to his parents helping him run it. It was great to
Hell
see
yeah,
them, meet them. They were cool people too.
two of the coolest TO or co-TO or assistant TO, whatever title Martin wanted to give them.
Definitely.
Two of
Yeah.
the coolest versions of the people in that category. So
Yes. Yes.
uh, I had ample time to speak with both of them, and we'll go over that in my game
Mhm.
wrap-ups. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, what did you have any thoughts you want to add to the?
It was a great event. I'll tell you what, there's one thing that I might end up missing from the age of COVID. It is the amount of space that we had in between tables. Just this ocean of space. There was a full 6 feet in between each and every table.
Yeah, it
And I didn't
was
think how nice that would be until I was there and I could just walk around my table.
it was
Oh, it
very
was so
nice. It was
good.
very nice having
Oh,
360 access. Uh,
yeah. I can get
maybe
spoiled by that.
maybe with smaller table sizes, we might be able to get away with that for a year or two at the other events because
Yeah.
we don't need them butted up one after another. We'll see.
If anything, we might get a 1 foot space where we can set things
Yeah,
in between tables, and that'd be okay. I'll take that too. I'll take that in between.
yeah. Um, which, real quick, jumping ahead with the new table sizes,
Yeah.
uh, no one should bitch about it. Like, I literally like playing all those games with the new table size. I never even noticed it was different. The only thing that's different is you get into action quicker.
Right. Yeah. That's what it is. Is it forces action sooner.
Right, and that's one of the things that I always had an issue with prior was like it's like okay, turn one is set up unless you're going up against an alpha striker, in which
Right.
case if it's two defensive armies or two slow armies, turn one's a wash. You're just getting in position
Yeah.
and moving on.
Yeah. You're gonna both score the same amount of points. Call it good. And all right, that was fun. Let's get to the actual roll off here for turn two. Yeah.
But yeah, so why don't you tell us about your game one?
My game one at ACO was against Flesh Eater Courts. It was a very strong list. I think it was two Terrorgeist, I forget how many heroes, and something like 40 ghouls, something like that, running Ghoul Patrol and all that at the time. Of course, something ancient and dead now. Uh, I forget what was the mission. It was Blade's Edge. It
Yep.
was actually ended up going very well for me. Opponent gave me turn one, went out, scored 4 points. He replied by summoning everything he could summon for the game, pushing up, taking 4 points as well.
Now
And
is that normal to shoot your load turn one with flesh shooter courts?
I don't personally know. I personally feel like if it's a hero I don't expect will die in the next turn, I would do that myself.
No.
But I can understand why he did. He ended up coming over and taking my right side corner because I had kind of put everything into my left side corner and he put everything into his right side corner. And we were just going to kind of swap and go at each other. So he ended up taking my right side corner with that, which meant I had to deal with it because it was, I forget, I want to say 6 flares and Vargeist off my corner. And so I can't just ignore that.
Yeah.
But after that roll off for turn 2, I give him the double, to which I'm still turtled up and defensive. So he just kind of sits there and does nothing. I take his far corner objective to force him to do something.
Yeah.
Uh, he can't really, only scores 3 points. I push out a little bit, retake my right corner and the one right across from my bunker, score 3 points. We roll off going into turn 3, and I win the roll off again, give myself the double, go in and kill everything but I want to say 3 heroes of his army.
You're such a jerk.
Yeah, so we were pretty well done from there. Yeah. No, that was a good game for me, though. But
So
yeah, no, he played very well. It was just one of those things where we were both being very defensive, and I got to do the jump whenever I got the chance to do the jump.
yeah. Speaking of Vargeist, another friend
Yeah.
of the show, Paul, who runs the Adepticon narrative, was there. It was absolutely great seeing him. So I doubt Paul even knows we do a show, but if you do, hi Paul. I got to meet his wife. She was an incredibly kind and patient soul because I was asking her, I was like, "Oh, do you play?" And she's like, "Oh God, no." So to be willing to go to an event with him, that's woof. That's a tall
Yeah.
order. But
Yes, it is.
so I personally haven't really had any experience to Vargeist prior to the event, and he was telling me all about um, the bravery mechanic they have.
Right. I did not really get to experience that. I got shouted at some by the flayers. But that was about it. Thankfully, because I have very low bravery.
Well, what's funny is I was like, afterwards I was thinking about it because like if I ever go to a doubles event, I need a Vargeist player because there's a spell for Lumineth that literally just has your opponent -2 bravery for everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd
So
be pretty rough.
so that and some Cathalars dropping some neg 1 permanent neg 1 braveries. Now you're looking at a neg 3 bravery, and thankfully 3.0 didn't limit the amount you can reduce bravery. So you're looking at some like goblins that would have like a bravery 0. Like
Oh, I'm gonna roll this d6, and whatever it lands on, that's how many you're gonna pick up. Enjoy. Yeah.
yeah. So my game 1 was very enjoyable. I fought against Steve from Partners at War. I didn't really know the channel prior to, but I've been watching it since we got back. Great job, great analysis. Um, Again, Steve, you probably may or may not watch us. We actually did. So there, he subscribed to us, and I subscribed to him. So
Okay, so
so
maybe
he
you'll see
may
it.
watch this. So Paul,
Cool.
hi Paul.
Hello, sir.
So he brought eels as well. I'm sorry, I didn't have Deepkin.
Yeah, he wasn't pure eels. All right, he's a much
I'll
kinder soul than I.
I'll tell you what, like he was still able to get a lot of utility out of the non-eel bits.
Good.
Um, However, like I said, I brought giants to this event, which was not in my favor. They, without the ability to do any mortal wound saves, he did what eels do, and they took some giants off. Now, I will say that my Kraken Eater did eventually take out the turtle.
Oh, there you go.
So-
Okay, flavor win. Flavor
So yeah,
win.
he won. He won big time.
Yeah.
But I got the moral victory by cracking the
Yeah,
turtle
you
suit.
did.
That's
Yes.
so. What was your game 2?
My game 2 was against Beast Claw Raiders. And to all my opponents, I'm sorry. I'm terrible with names. I'm probably not going to remember any of
Don't
them.
worry. I
So-
think I only remember my next opponent's name, and that's it. So,
Okay, great. He was playing Beast of Chaos. I forget what the mission was. It was 4 objectives, 1 in each corner. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head now. Anyway, we each get set up in a corner. And this is a game where I felt why all the other Ideneth players take 2 boats. Let me tell you. Because instead of penning in the opponent, I defended 1 flank with a boat. I set up preparing to be given first turn, as I mostly am all the time, with defense seals up front to take the blow in case and all that. Well, my opponent decides he's going to take first turn, which blows my damn mind. Get three stone horns up the gut, turn one, takes out, I want to say, a third of my army, top of one. I go, oh no, what am I going to do here? This is rough. Thinking, I've lost this one. Murder Turtle comes through, though. Not a problem. Pick up 2 dice for the jaw attack. Roll, pair of ones. Volturnus is nearby. Pick them up because they're ones. Reroll them. Double sixes. 12 mortal wounds to a stone horn. Drops it and just frees the turtle from its binds so that on my turn one, the turtle and everything, we can just go in and I think we maw the other 2 stone horns right then and there. And he just doesn't have too much to come back with after that. I just got lucky. I'll be completely honest. I should not have won that game. I had no business winning it.
Well, don't worry. I lost my second game for you.
There we go. Yeah, appreciate it.
I fought. I apologize. I can't remember if your first name is Daniel or David. But Mr. Fields, he's been a long time top table competitor. He brought his 4 Bloodthirster list, which I remembered and recognized from the first year that Chuck and I ran the Nova GT, because he won that event with that list. And I was like, well, I don't know how well the Suns are going to do on this one.
Yeah. He's the guy that basically taught me to run more Bloodthirsters because of watching that event. Boy, it was a good time.
So that was one of the issues that I ran into. It was kind of again, I'm sure I did some tactical errors, but I'm not smart enough to know what I did wrong. But it was the corners. We were in the corners, and then I had like a bunch of like a string of rock formations. So I was very limited as to where I could set up. So I kind of had to do everything, all 3 of my megas and all 3 of my man crushers in like the corner of my deployment zone. Well, we roll off, and he gets it and decides to go first. He charges forward with all of his Bloodthirsters and does his ability where he does a AoE mortal wound to everything in 8 inches and manages to do 12 mortal wounds. So he takes all my megas to half, and he takes all of my minis off the table. Well, man crushers. If I say minis, I mean man crushers. So then he manages to kill another mega in that turn. I managed to, on my turn, the Kraken Eater, who, I'll tell you what, like the Kraken Eater, the profile is the most boring profile of the 3, but he always is the one to do all the work. Like,
just boring and consistent. It's fine. He's got it. Heavy lifting.
I have the Gate Crusher, who literally has 10 attacks with a Rend 3 damage flail that never does shit.
You don't need any of that.
But yeah, so he managed to take out a Bloodthirster, which I was like, yes. Mr. Fields was not super happy about it, but he was much better off because at the beginning of his turn, he was able to kill off everything else, totaling a 10-minute game.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
But we shook hands like gentlemen. He offered to buy me a beer. I said, no need.
Right. I did end up buying my first opponent a beer. I felt that bad.
Maybe if I drank, if I was a beer drinker, not that
you probably would have taken him up on it.
I might have taken him up on that one. I mean, there's nothing like having a beer in middle of the morning. That's
it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, so that's whenever the first time I got to have a nice long chat with Martin and his folks, who again, tens.
Great people. Great people.
So, how was your game 3?
Game 3 was also good. It was against Beasts of Chaos, who had gone 2-0 at that point, and I believe
you gotta worry. You have to worry when you see a Beast of Chaos player, because you're dealing with someone that knows that army inside and out, and has played more games than you.
My only loss coming into this tournament with Idneth Deepkin was to one of our local Beasts of Chaos players. So let me tell you, when I was sweating, I was sweating. I believe the game was shifting objectives.
Yep.
And thankfully, our local Beast of Chaos player was, no offense, better than this guy. So I had a lot of practice moving up into this one. No big standout moment for the whole thing. This was whenever I realized how great net launching sharks are.
Yeah.
Because he had one unit of, I think it was 6 or 9, what are they, Minotaurs?
Oh.
Deep strike in, off to the side, fail their charge. So in the next turn, I just sent 2 shots over with the nets, which made it so the whole unit can't pile in. Grabbed 3 eels, attacked a singular Minotaur, and only a singular Minotaur could fight back at me.
Wow.
And so I got to pin the entire unit then for the turn. It was glorious.
My third game was against OBR. And again, I apologize. This is where I'm not going to remember anyone's name, so I apologize to everybody. Yeah, she fielded a really nice army. She was set up to heal to the high heavens because she had Krakatos, Ark in the Black, and a Harvester.
Jeez, okay, yeah.
set up to win. And I'll tell you, like, the entire time I was like, I think I got this one. I might have this one. I was, due to the amount of points that she had, she had 2 blocks of more tech guard. I forget how many in each. It was probably 20. But so she put them all over here. So I put my entire army over here. Again, I have 6 models. So what do you expect?
Right. Yeah.
And so I had my War Stomper, the Chaos one that's anti-Horde, was doing a pretty good job of keeping the other Mortec Guard at bay. And I actually was doing a good job of taking Krakatos. I got Krakatos down to like 1 or 2 wounds left. And then my dice were like done for the day.
Yeah.
I charged in with... my memory's getting fuzzy now. I think it was 2 or 3 Man Crushers into Krakatos. I'm like, okay. All I need is a 2-up. No, it was 3. Yeah, I got all 3 in. So all I needed was 1 2-up.
2-up.
Failed all 3. And then whenever it came my turn to swing, the first Man Crusher whiffed on everything. She didn't have to make a save. Then it came her pick. She killed another one. I attacked with my other one. All whiffs.
This hurts. This hurts.
Yeah. So then we end. I forget who goes next, but I think it was her. I think she went at top of turn 3, and so she basically was able to heal Krakatos up almost a full.
Put most of the Mortec Guard back if there were any missing.
That was basically like she brought some back. I would just swipe away like 15.
Right. Over half would come back. Yeah.
But yeah, so then like for the rest of the game, I don't think I made her roll an armor save. So whenever you have 6 models and none of them, well, at that point, 5 or 4 models, and none of them are able to do any real damage, it's
a tough time.
Can't do much.
It's a very tough time.
That's what happens when you have a game with dice. You can have all the strategy in the world, but if all you're seeing are 1s. And again, I hate to blame dice. I really do. But you can't really say too much more than I didn't get to the point where my opponent had to roll saves. Like,
right.
Like I said, I could have Team America them and still.
I hear you.
But again, at least we went. That was a full game. It was a lot of good back and forth, a lot of good strategy on both sides. It's until my dice fail, like start crapping out. It was a game that I love to go to because you don't know who's going to win until the end.
Definitely.
So that led to the end of day 1.
Yep.
I'm not in a good mental place at this point.
No.
Thankfully, first off, we had our buddy Brad there, who was there to help pick me up.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I probably, if he wasn't with us, I probably would have dropped.
Thankfully, Brad is a
Yeah.
very positive force and a very positive person. So
Now again, he didn't know how poorly I rolled at the end of round 3, and he asked me if I wanted to go to the casino and gamble.
it's like it might not be the smartest idea at this
I'm like,
moment. Nah.
I was like, maybe if there's a game where you can bet on yourself to lose, like,
Yeah. Should have taken you to craps at Snake Eyes and just see what happens.
Snake Eyes. Hey, got it.
All right.
um, yeah. So the next morning, I wake up to a text from also friend of the show, AOS coach Anthony. like, so as fellow Suns player is he's trying to be my Mick to my Rocky, and he's it's like, oh, you know you're up against the ropes, but you can do it. I believe in you. And I was like, I don't know, coach. I don't think I can do it.
That was great to hear that he got a hold of you, though. I was glad to hear.
I mean, like I couldn't even imagine what time it was in Australia, like, or New Zealand. I think he's in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And like the time difference, he must have stayed up just to like wish me good luck, and it meant so much to me because like I was so nervous because like with the way the pairings were looking, is I was going to be facing Archeon, and I'm like,
Right.
what am I going to do against Archeon? My game plan was like maybe just throw a man crusher or two, like create like a trap where he can't retreat or something, and like just stall. But
Right.
Anthony, he's like, no,
Yeah.
you got to do all three.
Just gotta push in there, get real aggressive.
Got it. And I was like, okay, if you say so, you're the coach. Like that's.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, another thing that kept me in the game was that kind of support, which honestly is one of the things that I just love about this game. Like, you're not going to get too many situations where someone on the other side of the world who you've only met in person a couple times can encourage you and
Yeah.
on top of that give you battle strategies.
Right. Yeah.
So if you don't mind, I'll take the
Go for
first
it. It's all
4
you.
since I'm here. So I did not get Archeon turn 4. I got Fire Slayers, which I was like, awesome. I know how Fire Slayers work. Now, in retrospective, I was like, I've never been able to beat Fire Slayers.
Hmm.
So
You weren't thinking about that
yeah,
morning.
I didn't
It's
think that
okay.
far ahead. I was just like, I know it. And so this was knife to the heart, and I saw it, and I saw my opportunity to win. And I was like, this game is mine. This is the game that I'm going to win. Because he had only put one 10-man block of Volkite on his objective.
It was
Where-
knife to the heart. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I put one Man Crusher on mine, and then the 3 megas in front of it. Because we had like a big terrain, almost like a stone wall in the middle that perfectly cut the board up. And so I was like, okay. He went first. He ended his turn, and I sent my other two. My other 2 megas were heading around to that objective. Which I'm like, as long as I can stall and just get there at the end of turn 3, I don't have to worry about killing his unit because that's going to be 30 guys in that block if I can get those
Right.
2 over there. And at the end of the turn, he tried to score points, and I was like,
No.
no, don't you read? You might want to read the.
pack, yeah.
Read the pack. Read the battle plan. He's like, oh, okay, and then kind of picked it up and read it for like just 2 seconds. Was like, oh, I get it now, and like put it down. And I was like, I don't think he read it. I think he's just and so, unfortunately, on my turn, I failed all my charges. I couldn't get into him, but I set him up perfect for a charge. And whenever his turn came up, he did the rune. He did the rending rune.
Right.
And got himself, and then he rolled the 6, so he enhanced it. He charged, so with his 20 block of Hearthguard, he got a triumph. triumph was reroll failed hits. So then he did runic empowering. So now he's rerolling all failed wounds. So now he's coming at me. And he also did one to run and charge. So he could run the rest of the way, charged in, wrapped perfectly. Perfect placement. And so he, of course, Hermdar. Of course, Lords of the Lodge.
Yeah.
So we go into combat. He goes before combat begins, and he literally just masterfully picks out the attacks. X into this, X into that, X into this one. He rolls, he misses a couple, re-rolls those, gets those, re-rolls wounds, gets almost all of them. I get no saves, so each one takes like 20 damage.
Oh, that's rough.
And then he's like, okay, and just to make sure you don't have any shenanigans, I'm going to use a command point so I can pick another unit to attack. I'm going to choose that unit to attack. Did it again, wiped everything off the table. I put out my hand and wished him a good tournament.
Yeah.
Conversation 2 with Martin and his parents. Because that was, again, a 10-minute game.
That's rough. That's really rough.
But you had a good game 4, right?
Yeah, I also played against Fire Slayers in Knife to the Heart. I got pretty lucky. My opponent chose to go first and see if they could alpha onto the objective kind of early. They only had one unit coming up from underground. It was a unit of 20 Volkite, I want to say. Okay. Came up, attempted the charge, failed the charge, and in my turn 1, I put my entire army into them, hitting them with nets so they could not pile in. So each of my units was maybe taking on 3 Volkite.
Can I say, I don't know why people bring Volkite. Did they seem like for what was getting into you? Did you feel like it was intimidating in any way?
I was scared going into it because I had never really fought a tuned list before, and somebody was 3-0 fighting me, so I was terrified going into it. So
I should keep with my record, I should keep my opinions to myself.
Right. Well, I mean, we're game 4 and this guy's 3-0, so I'm kind of scared here going into it. I'm going, okay, I'm going to put my entire army in here. Is this going to move it or not? Like, I've heard how terrifying these are. Well, it picks up without too much issue, thankfully.
Yeah, that's one of the things there is like in 3.0, I think you might actually be able to get something out of Volkite now because of I forget what it's called, the firewall. The firewall now grants a 6-up ward save.
Oh, okay. That'll help. Yeah. So after that, my opponent decided he was going to play for the draw, I think.
Okay.
And he turtled up around the objective with the rest of his army. That was his entire turn 2. My turn 2, I set up, I want to say, 16 and a half inches away from him so that he could not attack me.
Yeah.
Did absolutely nothing for turn 2. Turn 3, roll off. I win the roll. It's, as everyone knows, the Eels' turn, their time to shine, and dive in with my entire army into whatever was left to his army. And I don't think he realized just how bad it was that I was going to go first everywhere. And once the entire army dives in and goes first everywhere, he doesn't have enough models left to even contest me by the time he's done swinging back.
Yeah.
So I win that game.
Now,
also
not to your opponent in particular, but as a Fire Slayer player, and to all Fire Slayer players in my ilk, we have no room to gripe or grimace about getting struck first upon, because we do it every damn turn.
I think he was half counting on being able to do that to me, and I'm like, well, no, this is my turn where I go first everywhere.
Yeah. I feel like they really slipped in that FAQ. I feel like they should have made a little bit of a bigger deal about it, maybe in like a General's Handbook or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and again, I know a lot of people have kind of griped about that.
Right.
But to me, it makes perfect sense.
Right.
It's like,
No, I agree. I can understand how it works.
yeah, it's like you get to benefit from that on your turn, and he gets to benefit
Right.
from his thing on his turn. So,
Right. He was thinking it was going to act more as it does in 40K, where I would get to strike first with one of my units, and then he'd be allowed to respond.
mm,
Sadly, that's not how it worked. So I got to
well,
go first with 2,000 points of an army, and yeah, that's
because
kind
that's
of how
also
that went.
fair. Good,
Yes, that's also
healthy.
very fair. Yes, that's elf love. That's
Yeah.
what it is. So
Um, all right, so then going into the fifth round, I forget who I was supposed to go up against because now I'm 0-4,
right.
and oh, you know what? I'll let you take this one first,
Okay.
and then I'll go over
Um,
my game.
okay. My fifth game, I am 4-0 going into it, feeling all the jitters, of course, because I'd never done that well before that tournament. I forget what the mission was that we were playing. It's the five objectives, one in the middle and one each corner.
Yeah,
Couldn't remember it off the top of my head. I've already pushed it away. Never gonna need to remember its name again.
yeah.
So obviously I'm coming in on a high. I play against a guy who, spoilers, ends up winning the event. Uh, Anthony Trentinelli, I think is
Yeah.
how you say his name. Really cool guy playing Slaves of Darkness. Empty Throne, I believe is what it is,
What is
running a six pack of what are they called?
Varangar?
Baron Guard.
Yeah, I'll tell you, like, so with Chuck's little Fight Club thing, I've looked at
Yeah.
the Slaves of Darkness book a little bit. Obviously, not to any huge in depth, but I looked at the Empty Throne. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. I don't think there's
Yeah.
any gas in that tank, but cool nonetheless.
Let me tell you how wrong you and I
Yeah.
both are. Boy, did I get shown that day. I didn't understand what they did, and Anthony, before the game, made sure he sat me down and explained to me everything that was going on. And I still played right into his hands, and he just wiped the floor with me. Let me tell you what, it was hardly even a game. It was, I mean, he did great on his part, but like, I got destroyed. It was good.
Yeah.
So I finish out 4-1 on the tournament, my best tournament place ever. So I'm not going to bitch about it.
Well, since you let us all down with the sweep, I decided that this was my time to pick it up.
Thank you. Thank you.
I picked up your leavings, and so again, I don't remember who I was supposed to fight, but he dropped. I don't really remember too much about it, but so then we got, and I was sitting there, I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm not 100% sure. Like
Right.
the other person had already started playing against the ringer, and I was like, oh, I guess it's too late then. I'm like, well, I don't really need to
Right.
go 0-5. I'm all right.
You weren't feeling it at that point. I understand.
And but then the ringer's like, oh wait, no, you come over here, you set up, and then so lo and behold, Archeon.
Got your wish.
And I just remembered AOSE1 Kenobi in the back of my head. Just
Yes.
use the megas. And I was like, all right. Now I do feel a little bad because I do think the kid, the I don't want to say kid. I don't mean to be. He was
Yeah.
younger than me, so he's a kid. But
All right, old man. We
I
get it.
feel like he was not as well versed with the game. There was a lot of like kind of basic errors, like a lot of issues with movement. Like he would move out the roller, the his measuring tape, and then just move like kind of like beyond it.
Right.
It was like a mountain that he just tried to like pick up a model and put it on the other side because he had a formation going. And again, like I said, I didn't want to. I really hate correcting people's rules.
Right.
Like I'd rather just try and play through it because again, I'm at the bottom. Like what does it matter? But there was a couple times like I was like, well, maybe we need to tighten that up a little bit.
We need to correct some things here, just so you know how the game works. Yeah.
But he was very cool about everything. He was very understanding. Now I do feel a little bad because again, like I said, I got the inkling that he hadn't played too much, so I kind of took a little advantage of that.
Mhm.
So for the secondary, I chose that um, my one mega has to be alive by the end of the game.
Okay.
So there was terrain that came in and created a little wall one way, and then there was some rubble that none of our like Archeon couldn't go over it, and I couldn't go over it. So I
Mhm.
created like a little cup with my guy, with the guy he had to kill in the back. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, this is stupid. There's no way. Right in.
Hmm.
And then so that back and forth went on for 3 rounds. Now, if he would have just went focus, 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 it would have been done round 3. But instead, he was like, I'm going to do some attacks over here, I'm going to do some attacks over here, maybe a little
Oh,
bit in the middle.
wow.
So by the time we were done, I took out Archeon, but I had all of my megas down to like 6 wounds.
Jeez.
And
But you still had 3 megas.
right, well, he may have killed. I forget if he killed the war stomper or if it died right after.
Okay.
But this whole time while we're doing this combat, I'm using my man crushers to just go and capture literally everything.
Yeah.
Um, like just gobbling it all up. And then of course I have
Wonderful.
three. I have
Yes.
3 megas in the spot in the middle. So like, okay, we'll see if you could take that almost 100 models. Because after he had Archeon, because he went corn, so everything he took in this army was
Was meant to
solely
help corn. Yeah. Or
only to
help
buff
Ark.
Archeon. Only
Yeah.
buffing Archeon. So like nothing could really stand on its own. So I just kind of swept up. And even
Right.
still, even with all that, it was still actually pretty close. There was a couple times
Good.
where he took out um the oh crap, forgetting names. The Executioner Mask with the flail, who I said previously.
Yeah.
He took him
Yes. That
out,
guy.
and then the Kraken Eater maintained was alive the entire game. So
Good.
I got all my secondaries. I denied him all his secondaries, and I won a major. So
Yeah.
thanks be to me, our club managed to win every single round.
Right. Right. Exactly. You were able to do it. It's okay.
But again, like I said, overall, I mean, and it's really interesting. Like, oh man, I was just not. I was like, when the tournament ended, I was ready to like never roll another dice again. And then like an hour later, I'm like, oh god, I gotta play again.
Yeah.
Now there was another. There we'll dab into a little bit of news here. That's what I was looking up here while you're going over your last match there. So one of the things that came out, these completely unsubstantiated rumors, dropped. I think they were from 4chan over the weekend about new armies.
Oh, yes. I remember talking about this on the way home now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so like so again, I want to kind of get your thoughts on. We're going to kind of go over some things, some validity of the rumor,
Right.
validity of because again we'll go time frame, validity of the army, and then if it's true, what do you think about the army's potential?
Okay.
So I don't think there's the rumors that have been going on about which battle tomes are coming out, ogres, nurgle, stuff like that.
Right.
But then Q1 of 2022, Tyrion's Lumineth and Umberneth coming out together.
Okay.
So
Tyrion's Lumineth, I think, is probably a possibility
yeah, I mean we know that we're gonna get Tyrion. We
at
know we're
some
getting two
point.
more shrines or two more temples.
Right. Yeah. I also think you're going to piss off a lot of Lumineth players. You keep doing this year after year after year with no gap in between. Not on my spot to say. It's GW. They'll do what the hell they want. But yeah, I think that one is definitely going to happen.
I don't know about the time frame. So my
Right.
thing
That's the
is,
part that I'm
I,
worried about.
I have they ever released two brand new armies at the same time?
When AOS first dropped,
Yeah, I mean besides besides
the
then,
Cornstorm cast box, and then you lost me.
yeah. So I don't think. Now, there is the potential that we would be getting Tyrion
Hmm.
and Umberneth, and Tyrion might not come with a temple.
Okay.
I could
Yeah, I
see
could see
that
that.
because
Yeah.
they already have the story building up that Tyrion is going there. At least in my
Hmm.
mind, I forget how much. Again, I come up with a lot of theories, and I forget the line between my mind and reality gets smudged sometimes.
It's
But like,
okay.
where else are you going to send a blind swordsman other than the realm of shadow to take care of some
Right.
elfy business? Like,
What else is he gonna do? Really? I mean, the man is suited for the job.
right. Um, what do you think about the Umberneth? Because again, it's another army we know exists and we know people want.
Yes, I know people want it. I personally don't know enough about the army to really want it and all that type of stuff. Um, I don't know. I feel like yeah, it's something we could get. Um, I don't. That's the part that I'm struggling with right now. Is I keep thinking, oh, they aren't going to keep adding armies, but like the way they've been adding armies as of late, we're probably going to get at least a new army a year for a little while right now
Yeah.
if they want to keep the momentum up.
Well, I mean,
So,
I think we have. I mean, as far as new armies go, we have humans need something, which is another rumor that's upcoming.
they could use an update. I think that is something people would enjoy, and they need to be brought in line with what the rest of the books are all doing now.
Yeah. And other than that, like I said, I mean, really, as far as the Umberneth are concerned, like if you don't want to consider Daughters of Cain as the Dark Elves, which I
Mhm.
get, they're so removed, they're kind of their own entity at this point.
Yeah,
I could see
they
them doing a
definitely are.
Dark Elves,
Mhm.
which the Umberneth would definitely check that box.
That they would. Yeah,
Now, with that being said, what's his name? Malekith or Malarian?
Malachi. I don't know. I don't.
I think it's Malarian. So
Okay.
one of the name is the old world name, one of the one's the new world name. So we're gonna go with Malarian because no, we're just gonna call him. We're not gonna worry
Little
about his
M.
name. So
Little M.
yeah, little M,
Yeah.
Elfian.
Yeah.
So he combined with his dragon,
Okay.
and so that's the one image we have of this like draconic, demonic elf.
Mhm.
Now, if you show me an army of
A
draconic,
demonic elf.
demonic elves, I'm going to have a very hard time saying no to that.
Yeah, that doesn't
Those are
sound bad.
those are going to have to have some pretty crappy rules for me to not pick that.
I hear you there. Yeah.
Um,
Oh, sounds good.
which, by the way, is one of the things that kind of drives me a little nuts about having Warcry instead of like a true kill team. Is like I would love to be able to just like, oh, I'll get like a small war band of these guys and blah blah blah. Like, cause even with Warcry, you still have to like build.
Right.
And you're like, oh, I only need 3 guys with hammers. Oh, well, there's. I guess I'll
Yeah.
buy that 60 box.
Yep. And
um,
it'll only be for Warcry.
but yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if that is not our Q1, but our early Q2, like the Adepticon era time frame.
Okay. Yeah.
Like that, because they seem like they want to come out with those armies like May, April, June, like that, like time
Far,
period.
far enough from Christmas that people are wanting to spend money again.
Yeah.
Essentially. I mean, that's where we're shooting for.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see that. The
Okay.
next army that they talked about was Chaos Dwarves.
Hmm. Mysterious chaos dwarves that disappeared from Forge World.
Right, mysterious Chaos Dwarves that have disappeared from Forge World and have been in almost every story that they have printed since.
Right. Yeah.
The rumors,
I think they're going to
spoilers.
piss a lot of people off if they don't after being in so many
Skip ahead
stories. Let's
like
be honest.
yeah,
Oh,
skip ahead like 2 minutes if you don't want spoilers. But so
yeah.
the basically the end of the Broken Realms is they're going to pop up with a massive warp cannon and blow the living tar out of the gates of Azir. Which, like,
Go nuts.
they have had, like, they've been talking about trying to get those gates open since the beginning of
Forever.
for forever now. And so like at some point they have to actually do something with it. Now what I would really like is if this is true, that Azir becomes a pickable mortal realm.
Yeah, agreed.
That would be
anyone can go there then because the gates are open.
right. And so I think this is the most likely out of all of them.
So we can get a huge climaxes story
Right.
of.
And GW, they get a raging boner off of that idea. Like,
Yes, they do. Yeah, that'd be very cool. I think you would surprise a lot of people if you came out with plastic Chaos Dwarves.
yeah. And I gotta say, like, I've never really been a huge Chaos Dwarf fan because I'm not a huge fan of like, oh look, here's the thing, oh, now I'm gonna corrupt it. Like,
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we do that a lot.
But they're very different now compared to the other dwarves we have in
It's
Mortal
true.
Realms.
They are very much their own entity, and like, so if the sculpts are cool and the rules are cool, I don't really have a full Chaos army right now. So
This could be you dipping your toe into chaos now. Yeah.
it could, especially like if they, because again, like with dwarves, kind of, either gone, Fire Slayers or KO, and Dispossessed have kind of dissolved. Outside of the spare Rune Knight and Iron Drake,
Yeah.
these would be the closest to the old school dwarves. I can't imagine we would still get the train. I feel like the train would probably be gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't see that still being a thing. I don't see too much railroad track in the Mortal Realms
Yeah.
right now. So
But yeah, like I said, we'll see. Like I could see them having like giant like drills that you could put like coming out of the ground. That might be a little too close to World of Warcraft though. But
yeah,
but drills coming
I feel
from
like
the ground.
drill. Yeah, that's not just World of Warcraft. There's other things that use it.
Yeah.
I think there's plenty of 40k things that use a drill coming up out of the ground
That's
to
true as
deliver
well.
people. So I mean,
Oh, yeah, that's
think they're
a
pretty sick.
Forge World sister of the Silence, isn't it?
yeah, I think there's a couple Forge World models that do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's a transport you can take like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. Like again, the initial knee jerk is like, ew, I don't want that. But then, like, the more I think about it, I was like, you could convince me.
It wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't say no.
right? Exactly.
Which then the narrative then goes in response to that happening. Dawnbringer Crusade.
Okay. And the Dawnbringer Crusade are the people that lived in Azir.
Right. So basically we finally, after, 6 or 7 years, whenever this happens, we're finally going to get our human army.
Right.
Now,
the true God-fearing human army.
yeah. Now some of the places that have the rumors stating that it's going to be its own human army, other places are going to say this is what they're going to do with Cities of Sigmar. And again, like I said, one of the first episodes I had, which I might revisit, of what do we do with Cities of Sigmar, because we can only have these 20-year-old models standing up against brand new sculpts for so long.
Right.
And again, I know people love Cities of Sigmar, and they love their old models, but,
I feel like you'd have quite the uproar if you did something to say, hey, you can't use these. At least for the more common ones, for all the human stuff and
well,
some
I
of the
think,
dwarven things.
again, if it was up to me, if I was James Workshop,
Okay.
I would come up with combined units where, like, so instead of great swords or hammers or executioners or sword masters,
Great weapon unit. Yeah.
right? It literally is just called something generic like Great Weapon Masters, and it's humans, elves, and dwarves all working together. And that way, you buy them in a box. They come in like 16, and there's 4 of each race. And then that way, you can buy as many boxes as you want, trade with your friends, like,
Right, exactly.
and then that way it's just generic. It's just great weapon, threes, 2 rend, 1 damage, exploding on 6s. Move on with your deck. Like,
Yeah.
and then that way you can have these new sculpts. You can have something that looks good. You can have something that is from this millennia.
And it encompasses this idea of a city being just a group of the races all coming together. Yeah.
Right. That's what I would like to see. If it becomes humans, basically what my assumption would be is you would see kind of the high elf to Lumineth transition, where you wouldn't see pistoliers, you would see like Sigmar's flintlock champions,
Something like that. Yeah. They've got a lot more gold on them, all right?
Right. You're and that's the other thing I expect to see is I expect to see like really pared down, like piecemeal Sigmarite armor pieces.
Yeah.
I think, again, like I said, honestly, even though it seems everyone's really on board for this one, I would say out of all of the rumors, this is the most unlikely. Because we've been asking for humans for better part of a decade now,
It's true.
and we get Cities of Sigmar. Here, play with your pantaloons. I'm like, well, I'd rather not.
Yeah, they feel like a Sisters of Battle size project to me to get it done right and make
Yeah.
the community happy.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it does happen. I don't suspect it'll be the next book. I think that the Dawnbringer Crusades and Cities might get put into one book if I were to suspect anything to happen for the first bit.
And honestly, that's what I would want. Is I'd want to see basically, you still have the dwarf and elf units, and then the Empire units go away, and there's
Right.
Dawnbringer equivalents, and then that way we just can keep going that way. Maybe if you wanted to, I don't know. Like I said, GW, you paint yourself into a corner. It's your job to get yourself out. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. They're not all free. All right.
right. Like I say, you should have did the mixed from the beginning, and that way you would have saved yourself tons of grief. Again,
money.
people would have bitched and moaned then, but the bitching and moaning would be over by now.
Right.
People would be coming up with these amazing armies that are so beautifully integrated, but we're not there anymore.
No.
So now again, this one's not a rumor. This isn't a rumor. This is just me. I have no inside information. This is just again the wish list. So while Dawnbringer Crusade immediately goes off and goes after whatever, either trying to regain more land or whatever. Now that Grungni's back, now the boys are back in town,
Yeah.
Grungni goes, oh shit, these are like I've sworn to protect these people, and I'm going to do it. All right, dwarves, people who are still around, you know what? I made all that Stormcast stuff, so I've really figured out how to do this armor thing now. So, sure.
Get all the dispossessed, put them in this really cool shiny armor.
Right. Sigmar may have this Sigmarite, but guess what I found? I found
0.0, baby. Here we go.
I figured out how to refine what was it called? Oh crap. Gromnir? Old world people know what I'm playing. So yeah. They figured out how to reforge Grommel, and boom, the Grungni's Reclaimers are reborn, and maybe some KO can be involved. There's rumors, not from this leak, not leak or whatever, but this rumor drop had nothing to do with this, but we keep hearing rumors about or people are, or at least some people are hoping for a combined Dwarden book. I just don't see it. I don't see it
Yeah,
happening.
I don't want it like the Orc book. I want
No.
them to stay their own separate thing. I
I
think
mean,
that's for the best.
the Fire Slayers and the KO are so different that it
Yeah, I
just
don't see them coming together enough.
right. And like and even if you wanted to like there's no way you'd ever have the combined. Or at least you'd have a good combined because
No.
again, in order to be good at shooting, you need the big boats, and the big boats cost points. In order to be
Right.
defensive, you need to take the big blocks of the Naked boys, and that costs a lot of points.
Yes, it
So,
does.
because really at the end of the day, Thunderers are okay, but they're very expensive. Arcanauts
Yep.
are not great. There's no real reason to take them.
Yeah.
So there's no synergies between the two armies. Like I've tried putting so many different lists together. I've had the full dwarf army list, and
Yeah.
it just doesn't do anything.
Mhm.
It works a little bit for fun games. Like I brought it to Coalescence
Okay.
back in the
Oh
day.
wow.
You know,
Jeez. In the before times.
yeah, yeah. Mine was a KO list that brought a couple Fire Slayers for an anvil and some Iron Drakes to get some real shooting in there. And I also
Oh,
brought a Lord Ordinator because he allowed my frigates to shoot twice.
oh, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
That was okay.
I was like, okay,
Just sneak that in there.
that's a war machine and it's order. Thank you.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in all honesty, like I said, I'd rather see a ground army if they want to be techie. I think that'd be really cool. Again, since day one, I've been talking about dwarves like riding and like golem like creatures, like right
Yeah.
in the head. Like,
Mhm.
if it's going to happen, now's the time. What's going to happen? Otherwise,
Yeah. Yeah. Sometime in the next year,
well, I
I'd
would say
say.
this is probably we're probably looking at 23 at this point.
Yeah. I guess so because of everything we were just saying was going to come out in
Yeah,
22. You'd kind of have to make that space.
yeah.
Otherwise, we're not even going to give any sort of love to the current armies. And
Right, right. That's the other thing. It's like there's so many armies, especially like
the Nurgle and Ideneth still being 1.0 armies, they
yeah.
could. I mean, I'm okay with the current Ideneth book, but it'd be okay if you wanted the update or two.
I I'm very interested to see the first battle tomes,
Yes,
the orcs and the stormcast,
that will set the
because
tone.
they're going to be massive players. Do you
Yeah.
think we're now that we're kind of sliding into the third edition?
Right now, we're going into it.
Do you think we will see any battalions in those books?
Okay, what I want to say.
Do you think we will see any matched play battalions in those books?
Mm, oh, that changes the whole question.
Yes.
I want to say no. Personally, I don't want there to be. I like how the game is right now. We all have access to the same things, but there definitely will be two or three per book. I think match play.
You think there will be? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's something specific. Like,
Mhm. I
it,
think it'll be like what we got in the General's Handbook, where we'll get two or three per book.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get two and it's something super specific. Like, if you take Celestant Prime and then these slots.
Oh, okay. I didn't think of it like that, but okay, yeah. Really restrictive. Yeah.
But, like I said, at the same time, though, I don't think we need it.
No, no, I agree 100%. I don't want it. I don't think the game needs it right now. Just looking at it, I think
Yeah, you
it's wonderful we all have the same playing
right.
field there.
I feel like that would be like it would be similar to like the little kid that doesn't know when to stop putting ketchup on his plate.
Yeah,
Like ketchup's good. It's
right.
fine.
It's fine.
You got tater
However,
tots, but
yeah,
you're never gonna eat that much ketchup. Like it's
no, 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 I agree. I think that they did a good thing by saying, hey, not everyone has access to the same good toys. And if
yeah.
they start giving people toys individually again, we all just kind of sit there and go, wait, didn't we have this conversation about how not everyone's toys were equal? And well, that didn't take fucking long. Now
Yeah.
Stormcast and these new Orc boys have the best toys. Where's my toys, GW?
Now, the other thing I'm worried about, because I said I really, really like the new Stormcast design.
Mm,
They are right up my alley.
I agree.
I'm super nervous that GW is going to GW, and 6 months from now, they're going to be the worst books in the game. Or I should say a year.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
all I can think of is 8th edition Grey Knights.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Again,
You
if
start
you-
off really good.
If you remember, they started off
Yes.
near broken.
Wonderful.
Right.
Yeah. Scary.
And then Primaris came out, and then Two Wounds came out,
And now we're still waiting. Yeah.
and now they're like, the Grey who?
Yeah. I mean, 40K has some other problems going on right now. They're trying to
Right.
find out who the hell Bellicor is at the moment.
Yeah.
And
But
all his
again,
rules. So, like, yeah.
But again, like, it's the same thing. Like, it happened to Stormcast in first
Yeah.
edition. First edition?
Guess
Whatever.
so.
The last time Stormcast were good, it was early in edition.
Remember we had Shootcast good in the list.
Yeah,
and that was
Shootcast
about
was
it.
good. Sacrosanct was good.
Yeah.
But again, same thing happened to Khorne.
Right.
Same thing happened
It
to
has-
Nurgle.
They have their moment in the sun.
And then they
I
go,
mean-
oh yeah, now we know what we're going to do with this.
Right. I mean, every army gets its time in the sun, though, in 40K. Or
Well-
in Warhammer in general, I feel like.
Well, like I said, there's a
Some
difference
have
because
shorter times than others.
right. That's my biggest problem is I don't mind if they get deflated down to the fat middle. It's the ones that end up
At the bottom.
right. Again,
Yeah.
like Khorne. There
Yes.
are lists. There are lists with Khorne,
Right.
but you can't sit there and come up with like, oh, I really like these guys, or I like those guys, and do stuff you can do
Right.
with other lists.
Mhm.
And so I really hope that they are thinking ahead on this.
Yeah.
A lot of everything seems very much like they are, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But
Yes, the articles they've put out saying why they were doing what they were doing with points changes and things like that and what they were thinking of make me think they're at least looking further ahead than I think they have for a long time,
yeah,
which is always a good thing, I think. They're
Yeah.
improving in my
Definitely.
mind.
well, let's kind of take a step back here and kind of go over.
Break it
So,
down.
do you have any negatives of third edition?
Negatives of third edition, I think that unit coherency is going to bog down some people quite a bit for quite some time. You'll get into a charge, you'll get kind of excited that you want to do something, and then your opponent's will be like, well, now you're not in coherency.
Well, so don't forget. Now, this is something that's very important. If you read the
Right.
rules, it says
can't
you
willingly do
cannot.
that. Right.
Um,
Right. But I think it's not that somebody's going to get you and do that. They're
Right.
going to be like, we can't actually rap
Right.
like that. Because, right. Yeah.
so again, what you're touching on the exact same thing that I have. Like, it was the same problem that Fyreslayers first had whenever the points changed over to them being more elite.
Right.
Like, that's great, but I can only get 5 guys into combat.
yeah. Yeah.
They need to come up with just a straight FAQ at this point and go, look, all of these models have a 2-inch reach now. Because again, not every single one of them is going to deserve a 2-inch reach. Like, you're probably not going to see Blight Kings in a 2-inch reach.
No.
Well, I
Probably
don't
not.
think you need them.
No, probably not. It'd be nice, definitely, as somebody who got to play Blight Kings over the weekend when we were at Neil's.
Yeah.
I played against them. They would like it.
Yeah. But again, like I said, I think that's one of the armies, like, there's units like that
Right.
you can...
You can get away without giving it to
Right.
them.
But
and they're
there's
okay.
some units that, like, basically anything that you need to buff up, you need to take in the 10-man squad unit, like,
right.
just to
10
keep them
or
on the
20,
table.
30. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you can't reach from 2 ranks, they need to.
Yeah. Looking at Ravers, Blood Warriors from a Khorne standpoint,
Yeah.
you're kind of looking at it going, oh, this sucks. Why am I on a 32? Poor
I think
bloodletters.
I think Corn is going to get a brand new layer of paint, my friend.
I hope so,
I think they're
because let
going to
me
get
tell you, they kind of need it right now. I mean, I'm
well,
not saying that you can't win the army.
right.
I personally have not taken the time to try to do it yet.
Well, again,
Um,
this is going to be something I'm going to talk about with Lumineth here in a minute. But like, I think with Corn, if you want to win, you have to take X, Y, and Z, and you have to like basically take all the fun out of your opponent's game.
yeah,
But like, if you kind of peel away the specifics and look at the generic, like if you boil everything down to variables, I think you have a lot of very 3.0 positive pieces
right.
that
Agreed.
just needed a fresh coat of paint and a little wax.
Yeah,
Like now that we have those bubbles under control, let's just go ahead.
Mhm.
We'll go over to the 18-inch. Now all of a sudden,
Whew. Yeah. Things start opening up. Yeah, agreed.
maybe get a new Bloodletter War scroll. I don't want to go too crazy, you know.
Yeah, let's not go nuts here. Let's not start wish listing too much here. We're gonna ask. There'll be disappointment. I can tell you that much.
Well, we can make that another episode. So,
Fair enough.
yeah, honestly, so the reason why I started with negatives is because I don't think there's a lot there.
Right.
I think the only negatives is going to be cleanup from second edition.
Mm.
Just because we know how
Yeah.
slow they can do things.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of armies that are going to feel icky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a lot. I feel like the problem is you're going to have some armies that are impacted more than others, and they're going to feel
Right.
it's going to be like that bruise you got on your arm. The whole arm feels fine, but you keep going to that one spot, you keep hitting it over and over again.
Yeah.
As far as positive goes, I love the interactivity.
Yeah. It's very cool, especially as you start to get the hang of it and start
Yeah.
thinking about it much more.
I know during our game, I kept forgetting about redeployment,
Yeah.
which would have helped a little.
I tried that once in my second game, and I thought, oh, I'm being really smart. And then I rolled a 1 for my move. So nope, well, not that smart.
Yeah,
Got it.
I wouldn't mind GW starting to do the 2D3 a little bit.
Okay.
A 1D6 is a big difference,
It is.
whereas like
2D3 isn't a huge amount of variance.
right,
But yeah.
it lowers the chance of you getting a 6 and it raises the chance of you not getting a 1. So,
Right. Well, it makes it impossible.
well, I
Much
mean,
better.
you
Yeah.
you have that middle bump. So
Right.
you're gonna
We're
get
sitting at a 4 now.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, I love the new command abilities.
Yeah. Agreed.
I like the new scoring.
Yeah, it's taken some getting used to, but I'm enjoying it much more.
Yeah, like I
It'll be
said,
much nicer to keep track of at a tournament. I won't have to remember what I used round 1 anymore.
right, right. The I like a lot of things. I wouldn't mind a couple more. I forget what they're called. Whatever the secondaries are called now. The minor. I don't know.
Couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I'd have to actually look.
Listen, I know our audience is smart enough to know what I'm talking about. So,
They-
not the grand strategy. I wouldn't mind a couple more because, like, there's a couple of times where, like, I just took.
Come turn 5, you're looking at it going, oh boy, this is a tough list right now.
Well, in my game, so spoilers, I played a game with Alex. In my game with Alex, I was tied up in everything. I couldn't get anywhere. I couldn't kill anything. So I just took the one to run because I knew I was never going to get that one. And I was like, well, something might open up and I might be able to get some of these in a later game. So I'll just take the one that I know I can't get this game.
Oh, okay. See, that run one is something I've taken turn 1 of every single 3.0 game I've played so far.
Yeah, that's great. Do you have Shining Company where you can't run or charge or pile in more than 1 inch?
I just realized why you can't do that.
Yeah. Again,
It gets a lot worse real quick. Yeah, okay.
Shining Company is the worst blessing
Yeah.
it's like having a monkey's paw, man. It's just
Boy,
um
yeah.
yeah. So before I get into my griping and grimacing, why don't you tell me how you feel your Ideneth transitioned?
Um, Transitioned pretty well. Tiny hit in the points, really, all things considered. My tournament size list, the list I took to ACO, changed in that it lost 3 attack eels of its 15, and one of those units, the 12 attack eels, got turned into a defense eel. So now I'm running 9 attack and 6 defense because the defense eels on the charge can still hang out a 2-up armor save, which feels good.
Yeah, and in all
That's
honesty, I think
that's it.
that's
That's a list change.
I think that's a good change because it gives you a little bit more to work with instead of just being that
Right.
kind of a. Because I would say the only real weakness I saw from your army is how one faceted it is. It's
Yeah,
very very
it is.
attack, and again, it does that one thing very very good. So you don't
Yep.
necessarily need those other tools, but it's
But
good for
if
me
somebody,
and good for you.
right, if somebody can fight me well enough in the attack axis that I am going to struggle, oh, it makes those games rough.
Yeah,
But it is a very good army, and I think that it made it through into 3.0 without too much of an issue.
yeah. I mean, in our game, I thought they felt very good.
Mhm.
I mean, not for me, but
No,
like
no,
you still felt like a full army. You still felt complete. You felt like you could still feel everything working together and
yeah,
going with with the flow.
right.
Um,
Oh, it didn't feel like I was missing a key piece to do
right,
my whole thing. Yeah.
right. Now for Lumineth,
Conversely,
again, you're looking through all the lists and everything, and everyone's ranking them very high.
mhm,
And I'm not saying they're not competitive, but I'm going to say so. Before I was saying there was probably 4 or 5 lists that you could go to, and you could, even if it wasn't the most competitive game, you could win if you knew the army really well. There was no real like out of the 5 lists, there was nothing you couldn't 3 and 2 at. You know,
right. Yeah.
but the points, boy, man,
It hurt. They were
that's
in
hurt.
a
I
big
mean,
up.
in all honesty, like before, everyone was talking about Teclis being a trap, blah blah blah. No, I thought he was fine. Now,
Right.
no.
Yeah, he feels like a lot, I'll tell you. And especially since you'd struggling to screen him with the smaller units.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally they robbed from you coming, they robbed from you going. Like there was
Yeah.
no real like I get it. He's super good at casting, but
Hmm.
like his spells, he has very good spells, and he has a lot of spells. However, he
Right.
does not have a lot of very good spells. At the end of the day, the Lumineth spell list devolves down to maybe 4 or 5 spells.
Right.
And then, oh shit, I remember I have this one spell for this situation. Like
Yeah.
so leave Teclis at home. And unfortunately, like one of the things that has always driven me nuts has been the idea of the Sentinel spam.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not a fun way to play. It's not.
No, it doesn't feel right.
No, it doesn't feel good for you. It doesn't feel good for your enemy. It's just or your opponent. I don't know. I always want to call my
Your
the person.
enemy.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
other person on the field is not my enemy.
Yeah.
But like, so now if I want to win, I have to take minimum wardens just to prevent them getting to my sentinels, and I want to take as many sentinels as I can possibly fit into a list because it's the only place that I can get enough where I can actually do something. So I think you're going
Right.
to see a lot of that. I think you're going to see a lot of Iliatha now because you're going to have these two 40-man blocks of wardens that are going to be married to the hip. And as soon as you end a movement within 9 inches of them, you're getting shot with 38 arrows.
No, I don't like the idea of that.
But again, so like
But it's
that's one of the issues is they looked at the wardens and they went, "Huh, we pointed the wardens before because they could be a 2-up rerollable with a 5-up ward save. And then they kind of forgot that in 3rd edition they can't be 2-up anymore, and they can't be rerollable anymore. So now you're looking at a 3-up with burning a command point or using
Right.
your Aether Quartz, rerollable. Not even rollable, just a 5-up. One
Just a
wound.
3-up, 5-up. Yeah.
That
Isn't
doesn't.
bad.
Right, it's
But
not
it's
bad,
not the same as what it was.
but it's not 145 points good. Especially whenever it's like the only bucket in the well.
Fair enough.
So it's like you just have to minimize everything and go hard on everything else. Because like if you look at, because I was kind of looking at the Stone Guard, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, maybe there's some gas in the tank there because they have X amount. Let me pull them up here real quick, just for memory's sake. But yeah, so you have your obviously choice of the stone mallet or the diamond pick hammer. 2 attacks at 1 inch, by the way. So 3s, rend 1 damage. If you go with the diamond pick, you do a mortal wound instead on a 6, and for the stone hammer, you do 2 attacks instead of 1.
Right.
Everyone goes with the diamond pick because the mortal wound is more guaranteed. So now you're looking at a list where if you want to go that route, you have to go, 2 blocks of 10 because they're not going to, you're not going to have a block of 5 stand around because now you're just looking at 10 wounds on a 4-up with no mortal save, no ward save.
Yeah, someone's going to
If
sneeze
you
at it a
go,
little bit.
if you go Ymetrica, you'll ignore up to 2 rend, which is awesome.
Right.
But
Feels good.
a 4-up, 2 wound, ignoring 1 rend, no ward save unit is not going to fit in any other list.
Right.
So let's say you go with the 10, you take 1, 2, 3 to get all of your battle points out, and you take. Now at that point, you cannot take the named. You cannot take Avlanor, I think is his name.
Okay.
You can't take the named mountain if you want to take another mountain.
Because of how high the points are.
They raise the points so high that the only way to actually get 2 cows on the table is take 2 generic cows, so you can take 2 stone mages to go with it, and then you can fit in like 2 ballista. That's your list. You're not winning with that.
It's a pretty rough list to try.
That's a very rough list. And the same thing with the wind mages or the wind chargers. Again, the 2-up, 5-up, or 2 wound 5-up with a 12-inch range. Like, yeah, if you go with the wind temple, you can do the 6-inch pile-in and you can pile in away.
Right.
With 2.
Jamie loves them too. So that's what I was saying. It's going to be okay. I got to figure out how to make these work for her.
Yeah, but again, here's the thing: is like she's going to
play.
play.
Just playing to have fun,
right? She's going to play with us. Right. She's not going to like. I wouldn't.
She's not good.
I wouldn't say like, "Hey, bring out to Adepticon." That'll be.
Yeah.
Now again, to be fair, there is all sorts of skill levels at those games. So if you shoot down to the bottom of the tables, you're probably going to have some people that don't know how to deal with it.
Right.
But anyone that's intermediate or higher, I go, oh, well, I guess I'll just ignore that because your shooting doesn't really do that much.
And once you come close enough, I'll just deal with you then because
right. It's like I won't worry about interacting with you. I'll just go ahead and bunker down and sit on objectives, and you can just pling at me with your 2 attacks, 3s, no rend 1 damage.
Right.
So yeah. People might rate it high, but I think the only way to do high is one specific build that just leans so hard into the negative play experience that if you see Lumineth, you're just going to cringe.
Right. You're going to cringe until you see the list and you find out which one it is you're fighting.
Right. Well, again, honestly, it's like, okay, what do I see? All right, I see an entire display board of Sentinels. Okay. Here we go for the next 3 hours of this wonderful nightmare.
It'll be a fast game, actually. It'll last 2, maybe 3 turns.
Well, again, even still, if you think about it, like, what are the odds on that? If you get 38 shots going and 5s and 6s do mortal wounds.
38 shots, 1/3 of which do mortals. What? We're talking
10, 12?
13?
Right.
12, 13.
Woo!
Yeah.
I mean, there's no foot hero that is going to survive your onslaught, but
No,
you're not going to take objectives. You're not going to wipe horde units. You're not going to wipe heavy
it's true.
elite units.
It will get DPS checked, I suppose. That is a big thing.
Right. Like I said, you're just going to have to lean heavy into protection of Hish. You're going to have to lean heavy into uh, Total Eclipse, which now, with the changes to the Twin Stones,
Yeah, harder to do.
and again, and all they had to do was, if they would have just changed it so you could go, I'm going to burn it before I cast my spell, that would have been enough.
Yeah.
Because then I could have cast, Power of Hish on 3 units, say I'm going to burn it, try and cast Total Eclipse, do the other 3 units, and then try and cast Protection of Hish.
Right.
But nope, now you can get 1, because again, Teclis is the only thing that has a plus to cast in the army.
Right.
So now all of a sudden you have like 2 or 3 spells. I think there's a third one I can't remember, that are a casting value of 8.
And you've got no bonus wizards trying to do it.
No.
Yeah.
So at that point, you're basically just, all your Cathlars are doing is just like every other turn. Like, you're going to have to take 2 Cathlars, and one Cathlar is going to have to contemplate, and the other Cathlar is going to have to cast.
Right. Isn't the mounted hero the new mounted hero? So long as they still have their Aether Quartz, they get a bonus to cast and a -1 to be hit.
But
so that'd be the only other person.
His ability to give D3 model or D3 units Power of Hish,
Yeah.
is a spell. So now you can't take.
Now you're giving that up.
So you can't. So if I figured this one out, so what you can do is, if you give up on the named one and go with a generic, you can then take a. If you go with the Warlord, get an enhancement. You can take the enhancement to give him another artifact, give him the spell tome, so he gets a second cast.
Okay.
And
It's not a bad idea.
So then you can hopefully get the greater Power of Hish off, and then you can get maybe Total Eclipse every other turn.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe Power of Hish.
Slightly more reliable.
Right.
And then
personally, I would give him
one of them. Yeah.
Personally, I would give him Power of Hish, and maybe I would probably give him Power of Hish and probably one of the other Cathlars Power of Hish, just to make sure it gets off.
Yeah, he needs Power Hish because
everyone's already going to be wrapped around him.
Right, exactly. He's going to be around the people you want to have Hish. So
yeah. So that's my Grimace and Grunt. If you really like Lumineth and you're like, no, Matt, you're wrong. Big M, I disagree.
Down below.
We're on the internet. Argue with me.
Yes.
Come at me. Yeah.
Oh, they will.
Yeah, we haven't gotten one comment in the last 6 months, so we're all right. I can say whatever I want. No comments.
Ain't nobody's going to say a damn thing about it. It's fine.
That's fine. We'll get there eventually. But so let's talk about our quick game at Neil's.
Yeah.
So we drove out to Neil's. We had a nice 4th of July celebration with an ushering of 3rd edition. The bold plan was 3 games. The actual plan was 2 games.
I blame Dave.
So game 1 was Big M Power Hour co-host face off.
Yep.
I obviously won.
I'm not entirely certain I remember it that way, but I'll tell you what. Since your name is the one up on the screen for this, we'll go with it. It's fine.
No, yeah. So as far as that goes, like I said, it was a good, quick start.
Yeah.
With a massive amount of crumbling, and then we won.
What was it? Savage Gains.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to call it after second.
Yes, you wanted to call it after second because I picked up Teclis in second.
Yeah, so we kind of walked around a little bit and saw everyone else was still working. I'm like, well, Chuck always yells at me for quitting too early, so let's just play.
Right.
So we picked it back up and we started playing, and I had a real strong third. Real
You
strong
did.
third.
You
But
did.
Cole was like, no, I don't like that, Matt. I don't like that.
I,
And
I, I don't like it. The turtle doesn't like it. We're getting rid of that.
that's the other thing is, going back to the mountain real quick. If you want
Mhm.
to go mountain and you want to bring some cows, don't bring a cow. Ally a turtle. It's cheaper.
Yeah. It's better. It's fine. Just do that.
Um, but yeah, like I said, I mean, the only thing I think the big flaw I did was I didn't, if this is the battleground here, my screen's the battleground. I
Mhm.
kind of did the little pocket here, and I didn't really shield Teclis on this side because I saw a lot of shit over here, and the objective was over there, and um, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought Cole was going to put defensive stuff over there and just take out the shit on the objective, and he was like, "No, you can have that objective. I'm going to take this one and then kill Teclis."
Yeah, that's basically what I did.
um, which again, like I said, I mean, Teclis did his thing, but again, it wasn't
Right.
740 points of things.
No, certainly not in our game. It was not.
Um, yeah, I mean, like he was. The problem is like he's a keystone when he's in the army,
Yeah.
um, but he's not a particularly strong or good keystone. He just makes everything kind of worth
He's,
its points a little bit.
yeah, he's a keystone that if you can get into him, boy, can you knock that one out and the whole bridge starts
Well,
falling
like I said, I
down.
mean, in all honesty, I don't think the game would have went very different if you would have left him alone.
I don't know. Just because Warden's surviving more things with their 5 up is pretty good. And if I do get to within his what I call the 18-inch bubble of
Yeah,
death with
yeah,
him
yeah,
personally, because that's when he's finally in range and he can start doing things.
yeah, yeah.
I think
The
it's dangerous.
searing
Yeah,
white light of
steering light.
Teclis
Yeah,
is a fun spell, but I'm very good at rolling ones.
this is true. However, I look at it as my units have like 12 wounds for
Yeah,
3 models. Like, oh, that starts hurting a lot very quickly for
yeah,
me if I don't take care of Teclis.
yeah, definitely, definitely. But yeah, like I said, other than that, it was a quick game, but it was a good game. As always, Cole,
It
you're
was,
you're an amazing opponent, amazing enemy.
thank you, thank you. You're not too bad yourself. No, that was good. We got to learn a lot and think about scoring things a lot. It's
Yeah,
where I sat there and went, well, turn one, I don't plan on diving into him. I'm just going to take this objective. So I'm
yeah,
going to take the run secondary and run on the objective I wanted to be on. Okay,
um,
that felt good.
yeah. And like I said, I don't. There was one key die roll that I fluffed. It was what was that? The
Yeah,
rune of was it the rune of petrification
that
or was it
was
something else?
the no. A unit of sentinels had been brought down to 2 models left, and you rolled a 1 on the transfer.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
the transference from the Cathlar. Yeah,
yes, onto a unit of eels, which would have picked up a unit of eels.
yeah. That definitely would have.
That's exactly what would have happened. You would have just been like, "Get the hell out of here,"
And then it
and
would have. I think you still would have won, but I think it still would have been a game.
it definitely would have been more of a game had you just picked up 3 attack eels out of nowhere.
And then for round two, I fought against Alex, who he and I always seem to find each other, and he's just such a better player than me. he's, he's just like because like what's funny is like he finds lists that have a stupid amount of synergy.
Yeah, he definitely likes playing the games where he finally gets to, okay, this plus
And
this.
again, and don't get me
Do
wrong,
this.
like I think you're a superior player to me as well, but I feel like you and I are like I think if we played more often, I think I would be able to come up to your level.
I agree.
Whereas Alex is like playing 4D chess. The only problem is he goes, okay, well, how good is the army versus how complicated can I get it? And he's like, okay,
Right.
well, I'll take the bump down in power to be able to do 10 different more things. Like,
Yeah, I
um,
agree.
but he also raffle stomped me. And he didn't give a shit about Teclis. He let Teclis just
No.
do his thing the whole damn game. It didn't make any difference. I like Searing White lighted him like 4 times, and he's like, cool, thanks. Didn't make a damn bit of difference.
Damn.
Teclis was the only thing on the table by the end of the game.
Mm.
He had literally murdered everything. I'm like, there's nothing I could do to stop this. I'm putting like double units, like, okay, all my sentinels into this unit that's fighting the wardens, and wardens do everything you can, all out attack. Okay, they're still around. All right, that's your defensive unit, right? No, that's my weak unit. Great, okay.
Yeah.
I had a really funny moment where he brought a steam tank.
Yes.
Yeah,
the night before, he was like, Cole, we've got to fit this steam tank in here. And the competitive player with me was like, we could not, and it'd be better.
I just ignored it the entire game.
It's exactly what you do with a steam tank.
So he was shooting at my one Cathlar the entire game, which I felt hilarious. Because, like, I'm imagining, this, like, Galadrian elf standing upon this rock mourning, and then a fucking, like...
a cannonball.
Right, I'm like a World War One, like... like someone took apart someone's fence and made a cannonball and put a fence around it and decided to put wheels on it, and they came up and they're like, shoot that lady in mourning, like.
Just fire all around her, never hitting her, but
well, so round 5 he did take her out finally.
Oh, it took all 5 rounds though.
Yes. Yep.
I'd take that trade.
Yep. I mean, I tried to, like, every once in a while I needed to, like, try and get it out of the way so I could try and take the objective it was on.
Mm-hmm.
But he just was able to heal, like, any damage I did to the dang thing. He put the defense up to the nth degree.
Right. That was the whole idea he had with it. It was just one of those things that you then just stood on it with more models, more than likely, and took the objective anyway.
If it counted, like, as 10 models, I don't know what you would do against it. Like, at that point, you just put it on objective and it's there.
Yeah, it's going to enjoy.
How was your second game?
My second game was very good. It was a nice, tough game against, what are they? Nurgle. A lot of Blight Lords. I want to say 25, 30 of them in the list total.
Boy, I like Blight Lords. Blight King. Blight Lords are on the flies. Blight Kings are on the periphery.
Yeah, he had 2 Lords and 25, 30
I'll tell you what.
hits.
I think the Blight Lords are so underestimated.
They are. They really are. They can take a lot of punishment and keep on ticking. I will tell you what. We played the new shifting objective mission. I barely ended up losing that, but let me tell you, if there was round 6, I wasn't playing, really. I was down to practically nothing by the end of that game, and he still had probably a good 700 to 1,000 points left on the field.
Wow.
That was insane. A tough one. It was great. It was a tough one.
Yeah, that's I'm so interested to see what they do with their Battle Tome in 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, like, for me, all I would like to see is I'd like to see maybe a little... I'd like to see the randomness taken out of the Blight Kings.
Okay.
And again, that's just me, and that's because, like, oh, look, I finally rolled a 6 on my Blight Kings. How many extra? 1. Yay.
Yeah. My opponent had a few of those, but then he had a very good roll one time whenever he had, like, 7 6s, and then he picked them up and was like, oh, something in the high teens extra hits. It's like, wait, you're picking up more dice than you rolled to hit with originally for the wound. Oh, this is gonna hurt.
Yeah, and I said that's the problem. Is like, I know, and I guess one of the things is, like, it's just an unpopular opinion, and no one's going to agree with me, because the people that play the Blight Kings love that risk reward. Well, that's not really risk reward, but they love that feeling of, oh shit, I rolled 3 6s. Oh shit, I rolled 3 more 6s.
Right.
And then all of a sudden,
yeah,
Yeah,
No, I agree. I feel like I agree with you though. They would not be happy if you did the old. Well, it's just exploding in the way exploding sixes work for everybody else, where you just get one more, or you
yeah.
double up on them, or something like that. I
Well, I
think they
mean,
would rather, okay, I rolled a one and it's still only one, or I rolled a six and I get six. Cool.
yeah. I mean, honestly, if it were up to me, what I would do is, I would probably, I would first off, I want to lean into the plague aspect. You know,
Mhm.
like I know that they already do mortal wounds to everything within whatever it is, but it's on like a 5 up, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember
5 up
off
or
the top of
six
my head
up.
how it works. Yeah.
Personally, I'm gonna make that like a 3. Like a 3 up, you do D3
Okay.
mortal wounds.
Okay.
And then what I would probably do is I think there are 2 attacks per model,
I
maybe
think it
3.
might be more than that. Yeah.
But I would probably go
They're
with
good.
I would probably go with 4 attacks a model, and then every roll of 6 produces another attack.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
that way you're still getting the effect, but you're lowering the bell curve.
Right. I see what you're saying.
So you get
The
more
ceiling
attacks.
is not quite so high.
Right. You get more attacks in general, but you lose the cap.
Right.
Um, and I think that
Yeah.
would make them a lot more dependable. And I think
More
they need a
consistent.
rend. They need a default rend.
Yeah, no, them not having any sort of rend, I think, is kind of what kept me in the game as long as I was in the game.
Or it would be even better.
Hmm.
Okay,
Six immortals.
no, no. So like, if you're going to be doing mortal wounds at a higher rate of just being around them,
Right.
I think you'd be okay with doing a 4 attacks, threes, threes, one rend, 1 damage. Every time your opponent rolls a 1 for their armor save, they are dealt a mortal wound.
That would just pick things up. That's brutal.
Well, again, it would only be very effective against me. Like that's
Right. But
yeah,
oh,
the rolling of an armor save of 1, just you failed and you get immortal. That's
yeah.
that would
Yeah.
be because I don't think there's anything that does that. And to me, I don't know if it sounds it to you, but like that kind of gives that like infection feel almost because it's like you got
Mhm.
hit so bad that rust and the bile on the blade got through to something vital.
Now, I like the idea of like I'm hitting you and I'm getting mortal wounds
Yeah,
to make something feel vile to me
that would be
personally.
kind of cool
But I
too.
see what you're saying. Yeah, no, I think that was a thing, at least last edition, whenever we had our battalions and all that,
Yeah,
where I think Anthony was actually using against me in ACO on a sixth wound. I would take a mortal wound.
you wounding him.
Right, I would roll a
That's
wound
cool
and
too.
I'd roll a six, and I was taking a mortal wound.
That's cool too. I would not mind
Right.
that at all.
No, I really
Or
enjoyed
maybe
that for
even
the
leave
feeling
that.
of
Leave that for the plague bearers.
yeah, give that to our demon side.
Yeah,
Yeah,
give that. Make
agreed.
that be. I wouldn't even mind that being part of disgustingly resilient.
Mm,
Of like, okay, so you honestly, I, I wouldn't mind the entire army getting or ward saves.
yeah,
I wouldn't mind
even
Blight
if it's
Kings
only a
having
six up.
right. Blight Kings get a 6 up, demons get a 5 up. Like,
Yep.
but
I
other
mean,
than
the Blight Kings are capable of getting it. Obviously,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Other than that, I'd love to see. I believe that just the 3 named are the Maggotkin.
yeah, I think so.
Uh, Again, you guys know who I'm talking about for the 3 named guys. I would.
Yeah,
They're so close to being viable.
yeah,
They just need that
agreed.
little.
Kind of little shove, and they're good.
But yeah, man, if I could just see them and Gotrek or not Gotrek, the Glotkin,
Yeah, the Glotkin.
just
Oh,
just seeing like imagine that list where you have all the big fat boys with those
mhm.
big ass monsters on the back. Like
It'd be a very good looking army.
I'm telling you, man, like I wouldn't mind an updated blight or a plague bearer, but everything else,
Yeah,
I think everything else still looks amazing.
yeah, no, I agree. I think we just and honestly, I'm okay with the plague bearers as they are. I
Yeah,
mean,
like I
whenever we
said,
do the
they're
demons, let's hit
okay.
all four. Yeah, let's hit all four of the base battle line demons at once. In my mind,
Yeah,
whenever we get around to it. But Yeah, I think just from a rules standpoint, up the demon side a little bit to feel a little bit better like the human side, which I think they did a good job of in Broken Realms, helping it out.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all I really want to see from the book.
Yeah.
I mean, especially after having played against a good player with that army. Damn, is it difficult to shoot through? Let me tell you.
And again, that's what I think they should be. And like I said, I know
I
a lot
agree.
of people
I
say the
agree.
Broken Realms did them real well.
Mhm.
Um, like I said, depending on the changes they do to Blight Kings, I'm definitely have my eye on this army for third edition.
Agreed. Agreed.
Like I said, I'm right now. I'm going to be working on my Stormcast. I still love the Lord Imperatus or Lord
Yeah.
Imperator.
Mhm.
Like it's so funny. I think his rules are okay enough to bring him.
Right.
I don't think it's
He's not a must take yet.
right. I don't think he's a must take, but being able to drop down within 7 inches as long as he's on the table, I'm fine
Yeah.
with that. I'm fine with
That
it.
it seems decent.
And
It's
his
okay.
melee's okay. So like
Right.
um, now the one thing I'm have you read the banner guy the knight the Knight Heralder no Knight Herald the Heralder's the one with the horn um, the Banner of Apotheosis. Um,
I have not read what it does.
I don't think they're in the app yet. So
I don't think they are.
what it is like once per game you can heal D3 or put models back.
Okay.
And then, other than that, I think it's a 12-inch aura to re-roll all failed charge saves or charge
Okay.
rolls.
Yeah, that's what the Lord version does as well, which is good.
So again, that makes sense for the banner to do just something slightly different.
Right.
And like I said, I mean, like I'm not a huge fan of once per game abilities.
Agreed. Agreed. It is one of those things that, like for my eels, they have a once per game shock.
That's
To
fine,
keep track of it is a little bit of a pain in the ass.
but at the same time, it's like you're bringing eels no matter what.
Right. Yeah.
But if I'm
What I'm
okay,
what I'm trying to say is it's just one of those things that if we do too many of those once per game
yeah,
things, it ends up being difficult to track.
right,
Okay, who's done their thing or not, and you end up with just more little tokens all over the table, which
right,
for some people might be okay, but personally, I'd like to just know, okay, whenever my turn comes around, I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to work my way down the entire thing.
yeah,
I'm not going to go, oh yeah, skip part B because we did that once already this game,
yeah.
or wait, did I do that already?
Yeah, and like
So
I said, I don't mind whenever individual units that you're already bringing are going to have those added on, like your shock ability, or say the Warden have the ability to do the D3 on a 2-up once per game.
right,
Same thing with like the Spirit Flasks of the Storm Sacrosanct,
yeah, because
but
those
like
you're using because you're going to die anyway.
right, but it's like with with the Banner of Apotheosis, like I would be bringing him for
Mhm.
that banner.
Yep.
I feel like a 12-inch bubble is very hard for to try and keep in when you're charging because that, in my mind,
Yeah.
is where your army starts to spread out.
Yeah. 18, and I would be like, yep,
Done.
no
18
brainer. You
done.
could do it. Yep.
Yes, because then
12
at that
is
point,
the thinking point.
right, right. Now again, if I have the Lord Imperator on the table, I drop down some annihilators,
Right.
drop down the Banner of Apotheosis. Now it's a 7-inch charge with rerolling.
That feels much more doable.
Now it's a thinking man's game. Like,
Yes. Yes.
and then until the book drops, probably in September,
Mhm.
you can get away with short charge.
Yeah, given that buff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So now
okay.
you're
So
7 inches
4-inch
away.
rerollable.
Yeah, 7 inch plus 3 re-rolling, and if you can't get it, pack up and just go on to the next game. This one ain't for you.
Yeah. Yeah. You weren't going to make 3-inch one either. It's okay.
Wow, that was a tangent I did not plan on, and I'll go ahead and take the
Okay.
take the Nurgle take the Nurgle one off the list. That was upcoming, but
Yeah.
I think we honestly we covered Nurgle about as well as I wanted to.
Yeah, no, that was good.
So let's take it on home with you telling us about your. Oh, you did tell us about your second game.
Yes, I did. That was the Nurgle game.
That was the normal game.
That's the
Did
whole
you win
reason we
that?
went on that tangent. No, I did not. I
Wow.
lost it by 3 points, I want to say, total.
Wow. Top
It
table
was
coal brought down by the Nurgle
brought
stank.
down by Nurgle. Hey, I'm nobody. It's fine.
Please, you ain't nobody. You are you're Big M's sidekick. That's
Now, there we go. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Got a name now. I'm a cool guy. All right.
yeah. So oh yeah. So I guess we'll wrap it up here then with um it's not going to be over next month, but in August we have NashCon. Now that you're coming with us there,
Yep.
I have no idea how we're going to get there.
We'll figure it out. Before that, though, we have Neil's event.
We do have bars. Now I do have to take
We have
Lumineth to
bars.
that, so
So you're not looking forward to
I'm
it.
gulping a little hard. Well, so
Yeah.
I have like two side by side issues, and I talked about this a little bit on the other channel, and it's probably too personal for anyone else, but it's my channel, my show. I'll do what I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the pinched nerve in my neck I've been dealing with for the past since March
Hmm.
has gotten real weird. It's gotten to the point where it just like up here hurts, into my shoulder hurts, and it's getting to the point where painting is very hard, especially details. And that's all I have left with my Lumina. I'm getting an evaluation on Monday, and I'm very much expecting hey, you can't paint. I'm expecting a no building, no painting restriction for a couple weeks, which means
Ain't getting done.
I don't know what Neil's going to do whenever I go, hey, I don't have a painted army.
Right. I believe in you. You'll figure it out.
Well, I don't know. Like, if it was like base coating, I wouldn't mind asking people to come over and do it, but I'm not going
Right.
to be like, hey, no, stay in the line, stay in the line.
I was gonna say, that Chuck guy paints a whole lot of stuff, but
Yeah. Chuck will admit that he is not the best of,
right, exactly.
he's not the detail guy.
We all still love him though. It's okay. But
Yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that. So I'm very nervous for bars.
right,
I'm bringing an army that is. I'm bringing an army with models that are not in a good place right now.
right.
We're going. I think the point list is 750 or 1750.
Yeah, 1750 minus your hero.
Right. Well, you
Your
get your
hero.
narrative hero no matter what.
Right.
And
Free.
I'm going to see if I can at least take him as a lore seeker, since he currently doesn't have the unique keyword like he
That'd be
was
fun.
originally supposed to be.
Right. Yeah. Like he was just a few months ago. Yeah, that aged quick.
So as long as an FAQ doesn't come out fixing that by then, I might try that route. Otherwise, he's going to be a Lord Regent, and then I'll be double dipping a little bit.
Right.
But I've tried making a couple 750 lists, and I can't come up with anything, man.
Oh, mine kind of writes itself. It's what fits, and
Mine's a
I am, because I told Neil I would do it. Lotan's coming, so it'll be great.
yeah. I mean, like, so I drafted Techless. So my list is basically like Techless,
Some
a
wardens.
Cathlar, a block of 20 wardens, a block of 10 wardens, and two block of 10 sentinels. And that might be that. I think that might actually be more than enough points. So I might have to drop the Cathlar.
Yeah, it's going to be a little close. Yeah,
And then, like, on
Yeah.
top of that, like the way he has spells chosen,
yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I am not like Lumineth are not a good like. So my Lumineth list is not a good list in third edition, and then I'm going into an event that's not good for Lumineth with changes further hindering Lumineth.
It'll be fine. It's a fun narrative event.
Yeah. Listen, I'm too petty to be enjoying any time where I'm getting my teeth kicked in.
Look, I plan to be drunk sometime in the middle of round 1 by turn 3. Everyone's going to walk all over me. It'll be a great time.
See, the
So,
problem is, again,
narrative's just for fun for me.
even if I wanted to to drink, I'm probably going to be the one driving. So,
Oh, that hurts your entire, yeah.
yeah. Otherwise, I would just bring a bottle of Jack and just see if I could finish it by the end of the first battle round.
That might not be the best idea.
Hey, listen. So there was a time where I was, uh, uh, I was home by myself. I was playing Call of Duty with my buddy, and we
Okay.
got into a drinking game of any time you lost, you had to take a shot.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Did that with Dark Souls once.
terrible at Call of Duty, and so I opened a bottle of what I think is Jameson's Devil Cut,
Oh, jeez, yeah.
and I was playing in the dark, and so I literally went, oh, oh,
We have a problem here.
and I finished the bottle in maybe 3 hours, and I felt fine.
You're a big guy. It's
Well, he's a
good
very
that
big
you're
guy. And then whenever I went to take the dog out, I was like, whoa, no.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Big boy going down.
Oh, that'd be rough.
Yeah, so we can't do that. So I have to stay in a sober state and just
Yeah,
take it up the Aether Quartz. That's
yeah. Nah, it'll be fine. Yeah, no, that's first, and then we'll be in August. You and I are going to NashCon,
yep.
which, like you
And the
said, we'll
Chuckster.
figure that out. And Chuck. I also have Summer Slaughter the weekend before that because
Yep.
I am a crazy person. Apparently, gonna do 2 major events like that.
So again, I was full ready to like get the Lumineth, get like what I had done for Lumineth, and then start on Stormcast because I already have
Mhm.
10 Judicators painted. I already have Lord Arcanum on Toralon. I have Lord Celestin Prime. I have a bunch of Sequitors and Evocators. So I was all ready for National. I was like, I'm going to take these guys. I'm going to try and do a second list with some of the new guys. And then they're like, hey, we're going to pre-order the Stormcast in August. Huh? I'm like, thanks, you jackasses. That's
Yeah, yeah. Little late.
So now, we'll see.
You'll figure it out. I
I'm-
have faith in you.
I'm hesitant.
Or we're taking Giants.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Is like in second edition, me playing Giants might not have been the best idea. Maybe me too
They
dumb.
got better.
but they did get better.
They did get better in third now. I mean, I'm just saying.
And our another good friend of the show, Steven, came
yes,
to
Steve
Neil's
Mata.
event and
Yeah.
brought Kragnos.
Yeah.
And Kragnos just
Very.
replaced 1 Mega and 1 Man Crusher.
So from a 6-man list down to a 5-man list.
And the Man Crushers don't do anything anyways. So
Right. You're not a fan of them anyway, so
No.
big loss.
So I have 2 little guys to grab objectives, and then I have Kragnos to take one side of the field, and then my Giants take the other side. We'll see. I have a local event on Sunday. I'm going to take Giants to that. If they do good.
See.
Otherwise, I am very heavily considering, as long as my ability to paint isn't restricted,
Mhm.
of seeing if I can get a Middle Earth army painted in 1 month.
So we go right back to the painting dilemma here, is
Right.
what we're saying.
Well, that seems to be always the problem. Like, so I know you haven't played any Middle Earth,
Correct.
but my list for that. Let's see here. So that's 21. 34. So just about 45 models.
Okay.
These are. Have you seen them? Have you seen their models at all?
Yes, I have.
So they are true scale, 25 mil,
Mhm.
low detail models.
Okay. So something you could pound out is
Right.
what you're trying
There's
to say.
no detail on these. I could literally go
Right.
over to my buddy's plows, use his airbrush, get the base coat down and everything, pick out some details, wash, dry brush, and I'm done with an army in hopefully 2 weeks.
Okay. It's not crazy sounding.
I mean, again, there's spots open for the Middle Earth GT.
There is. I personally am going to tell you you should play Sigmar, but I will understand.
If NashCon took place at the end of September and I was able to get my Stormcast fully painted and ready, no problem. I agree completely. But, like, Fire Slayers, well, I need to paint another, like, 20 Fire Slayers. I'm not doing that. Lumineth, I need to learn how to play them, and I need to paint another 40 Archers. That isn't going to happen in a month.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't have anything other than Suns ready to go.
That's true. It's true.
So, I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll
see. I'm going to try and talk into Suns then, because I think they ended up in a slightly better place than what they were.
Like I said, we'll see. And unfortunately, you pussed out, and you're not going to be at Fabricators Forge this Sunday.
Yeah.
For the first 3rd edition GT.
I know. I did do that. However, I've not been home a lot as of late, and Jamie has asked for some time, and I understand that.
There would have been there's only like 8 people coming to this GT. First off, it would have been a great place for you to clean up. And second off, it would have been a great place for Jamie to get her feet wet in 3rd edition. So
yeah. Oh well. Brad might be making it out there, so there you go. You can have somebody to pal around with.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was hoping you'd be,
I know. Just letting you down. Just
leave me high and dry.
Yeah. First it was the Lost ACO, and now this. I mean,
after I pick up the fumble.
Yep. After I make you have to carry my weight. Yep. You're darn right.
All right, bud. I think we beat this dead horse into the ground.
Sounds good to me. It's a good hour, good power hour. Right there.
We were at just a little over 2 hours 7 minutes. So
just
huzzah!
Fine, perfect.
But yeah. So overall, 3rd edition, good.
Yes.
ACO, good.
Yeah.
Good. Go. Everything's good.
Yeah, everything's good.
Except for anything that I have to do with throwing dice.
Right. So long as it's not Matt rolling dice, it's a good thing right now. That's all.
I do have to say, one point in time, I would love to play against you where we don't roll dice and we just go with averages.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be a little scary, actually. I think I roll slightly above average at times, and boy, does it feel good. Just averages might be scary. Because then you would be scary.
Well, that's one of the things. Like, I always feel bad. Like I said, I don't mean to complain about dice all the time. I know I do it, but like, it gets to the point where like, so there's a set of dice that Chuck won't let me play because it rolls too bad.
I think you need to play with that set of dice. It'll just do the opposite for you.
No. I do play with it, and then Chuck goes, "Would you put those dice away and pick something?"
I had a set of dice like that at one point. It's
Alex actively apologizes whenever I roll during all of our matches.
I used to do such things, but I learned people don't like that, so I stopped.
No, again, like, I've seen him play other people. Doesn't happen. But when you're like, okay, 5 dice. Hey, only 4 ones. Like,
yeah.
So, yeah, I think if we take the dice out, I'd like to see where that goes.
Do averages. Yeah, the most ideal game of Warhammer possible. No. Everything's average. Yeah, it'd be fun.
Fun for a while.
I'd try it at some point. Yeah. A few turns.
And then after that, maybe we could do like Beer Hammer or something where you can, every time you finish a beer, you can put it on the table as terrain, and you can choose whether it's impassable or garrisonable. That's
a garrisonable beer bottle. There we go.
Maybe we could do beer bottles are impassable, tall boys are garrisonable.
There we go.
Boom.
Seems like a terrible idea.
You heard it here first. That's and then shots can be scatter terrain. That's
oh yeah, definitely.
Block line of sight. All right. We have to be done before I come up with any more good ideas.
Before we keep doing this. Yeah.
Right.
Oh boy.
Goodbye everybody. We'll see you next month.
See you everybody.
So, most people would think that a little over 2 hours of content is enough, but
Not around here.
no. So, you get a double bonus, one more thing moment. But
Yes.
on top of it being a one more thing moment, you actually lucked out because it's two new more things.
Yeah, very lucky.
Very lucky. So first off, this is after the event at Fabricator Forges that I talked about during the main part of the episode. I'm pleased to announce that by the grace of, I don't want to say Kragnos, but he is the god of destruction.
I mean, yeah, it's
So
by the grace of Kragnos.
I didn't use Kragnos. I don't have.
Right.
I have him
You do
now, but
now,
he's not
but
built. He's
not at the
not there.
time. Yeah.
But by the grace of Kragnos, I ended up winning somehow.
Yes. Which is
With
awesome to hear.
the same list that I got creamed with
At ACO.
at ACO.
Very nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
So if you're interested to see my Sun Tzu level tactics, I was actually on stream for game one against our buddy Okami, who brought an interesting Skaven list. I do believe that he is aware that it needs to be add a little polish at this point, but
We're all learning the addition. It's fine.
again, so I lucked out. In that one, I lucked out because he brought friggin' two of the cannons,
Oh.
and he
started eating.
and he blew himself up. I didn't actually get to one of them before it blew up.
Oh. Oh, that hurts.
Yeah,
It really hurts.
yeah. He did the more power thing, and then when he rolled for power, got a 6,
Nice.
and then rolled a bunch of
Lots
ones.
of power, as it turned out. Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, buddy. I've been there, but I appreciate the win. So, I was joking with him. I was like, I think that was like game 4 between him and I. I was like, so far, I think I'm 0-3, so I'm due.
So you were due for one. Yeah.
Then in round 2, fought another buddy, Chris, who normally brings Magmadross, but was like,
That's what I'm
oh man, Big M is so cool, and he did so good with those Suns at ACO. I want to do Suns too.
That's exactly what it is.
But he tabled me, but I managed to squeak out ahead with points. I think it was like, I want to say it was like 18-15 or 20.
Oh, okay.
Like 20-17. It was some ridiculously close
It was
number.
close still. Yeah.
It was not. Oof.
Well, he got what he wanted. He got the wipe you off the table. You got what you wanted to win on points, barely.
To win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that so the first game was Chuck's game.
Oh, Savage Gains.
Savage Gains. Yep.
AKA Chuck Morris. Yeah.
Which I'll tell you, man, talk about a way to just add an interesting spin to the pack whenever you're going straight off of points. Because, like, everyone else, you're like, oh, I did, like, 15, 18 points that game. And, like, Savage Games, I did, like, 47 points.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I originally had a D20 out to do my points. And I was like, turn 2, 28 points. I'm like,
What do I do now? Yeah.
So I'm like, D10s, all right.
Jeez.
But then round 2 was the Vice.
Okay.
Which is very interesting. Have you played it or looked at it?
I've not gotten to play the Vice yet.
So one thing that's really nice is initial setup is super awesome because all you do is put one objective in each corner.
Okay.
And then after round, I think it's at the beginning of round 2.
Beginning of 3?
You move them up.
Oh, okay.
Like up one square, in one square.
Yeah, that's right. And they get closer to the center as the game goes on.
Yeah. And what's kind of and what's funny is since the both of us were playing the Suns, we both went in like, oh man, can't wait to kick some damn objectives. Well, the second round it says put them in the new location.
So it really doesn't matter if you punted
Yeah,
it;
you
it's
put 'em
going
wherever the
where
hell
it
you
was going
want.
to go anyway.
And then at the beginning of fourth, you remove 3 and put 1 in the middle.
Okay.
So it's rough.
Wow.
It is rough. And
Yeah.
then of course it's the new standard scoring of 1,
Right.
2 more than.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was. I was able to squeak out because I went Taker Tribe and he went Stomper Tribe.
Okay.
So like
So you counted as more. Yeah.
I had one guy on, he would put one guy over, and I'm like, oh, no more.
Nice.
And then last and certainly not least, for table 1,
Yeah.
my buddy Ben, who's been a fellow
Oh man.
Lumineth player.
Yeah. Ben's a good player too.
Oh my dear gosh, yeah. I
Yeah.
had clenched cheeks the entire game, man. I'm
I'm
saying,
sure you did. I'm
like,
sure that you did.
like he would just devastate me, and I'd be like, "Oh crap, there's no way I can win." Then I would devastate him, and he'd be like, "Oh crap, there's no way I can win." And like,
Those are good games, though.
yeah, again, probably one of the best games I've had in a long time.
Good.
Because it was so close, so back and forth, and like there was times where like, and I could understand where he was coming from. I didn't relax though, but he was like, "Oh, it's in the bag now," because I killed off all the wardens, and then
Right.
one block of sentinels, and so he basically
Yeah.
had his lore seeker,
Mhm.
sentinel, and a Cathlar. Oh, and his wind mage, and that was it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I would have probably relaxed a little bit had I been playing your army. However,
Not
I
me.
can understand.
I knew exactly
Yeah.
what I was up against, and so like, I knew like because again, I have in my competitive list I have a wind mage, if not for one reason, but relocating. What is it?
True enough.
Whatever, the teleportation
The
spell.
teleport.
It's
Yeah.
like tornado relocation or some crap.
Something like that.
Now I will say I've never seen someone roll so good for their damn spells in the
Yeah.
history of time. Like so he was doing protection of Hish on his lore
Mhm.
seeker every round, which is a casting value 8,
Yeah.
unaided, boom, every round. Like didn't even fail. I'm
Wow.
like right middle of the table, boom, that's an 8. And I'm like, God damn it, man.
Of course, you're just sitting there going, "Well, yes, it is.
I
Yeah,
mean, yes,
yeah,
that is an 8. That is
yep.
that is a
Can't do
protection.
anything about it." So sure.
But yeah, man, it came down to the wire. And
Good.
oh, and I was so like mad at myself because I thought I was going to lose it at one point,
Mhm.
and I went for the one where you get 2 people in
In the
your
opponent's territory.
territory, and this was what was it? I forget what it was called, but it was the you both set up in like your corner, and then there's 3
The weird
objectives,
step ones. Yeah.
and then like the person that goes second determines which one is a vantage point where you can get more CP.
Okay.
But he got the Cathlar spell off on. Yeah, so basically, like, if like here's his territory. I had
Mhm.
my gate wrecker and
Two of the little ones.
two of the little ones right outside.
Okay.
So, but he got the Cathlar spell off on my Mega. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
well, I'm going to try and move. So he rolled it, beat my bravery, no movement. And I'm
Nothing.
like, okay, Man Crusher 1, run, get him in. Man Crusher 2,
Right.
I run, and I'm short 1 inch. His base is out
Oh.
that much. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, it is the end of the round. I'm sitting on
Mhm.
5 friggin' objectives or
Yeah.
counterpoints. Why the hell didn't I just burn one before I said I was going to run him?
Yep. Yep.
And I was like,
Because we're so used to, I'll roll the dice first and see what it is.
well, I mean, it didn't even recur to me.
Right.
Like running wasn't even like wasn't even a thing. But I think basically what it was is he was too far away, and I forgot that they FAQ'd him to be an elite model.
Oh, okay.
because they can issue their own objectives or their own command abilities.
Gotcha.
And I guess I just didn't even think about it. I don't
Didn't
know.
even register. Yeah.
But and I was gonna be I was like, oh, I'm gonna lose by 2 points. I know
Yep.
it. Because again, if you get them in with monsters, plus 1 points.
Right. Yeah, it's big.
But he brought up a really interesting point during the game, though, that the General's Handbook does go over non-GUR related battle tactics and things like that. I would not be surprised to see TOs go that route.
Okay. And make it so monsters don't have the extra advantages of points when
Yeah.
killing them don't give extra points as well.
Yeah, because I know I had a lot of advantages being all monsters.
Fair enough.
I
A
mean,
couple extra points here or there don't help. Don't hurt.
I mean, it's like every time I do something, oh, here's an extra point for it, you know?
Sure, why not? I'm on the table. I'll take an extra point for that.
Yeah. Yeah, so in that way, and it was so funny. Roger was sitting there at the end. He's like, well, I never thought I'd say it, but our first place goes to Matt Hayward.
Awesome.
I was like, I never thought I'd hear it either.
Hey, nothing wrong with it.
All right. So that's enough of that back padding here. So now
Yeah,
on to
congratulations.
the final topic of the week or the month that I can't believe we had so much going on and this was so important I completely forgot about it.
Yep.
If the video looked like it was about ready to end and you were like, hey, he didn't talk about this, you're right. You caught it. I didn't say a damn word about Warhammer Plus, and I have a little bit to say about it.
Tiny bit.
So, first off, Cole, I would like to get your thoughts on Warhammer Plus.
My thoughts as of right now is I personally plan to subscribe to it. If anything, it's just because of the damn models they revealed.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest, that was what tipped me over the edge.
I mean, in all honesty, so even if they were to put those under old standalone model prices of $35,
Right.
you're now making back your price.
Right. Exactly. The only thing that concerns me is how much will there be at launch?
Yeah.
Will this be one of those services that, yes, it'll come out and people the majority of people might stop and say, well, in a year, once they have a catalog, that's whenever I'll subscribe.
Yeah.
In which case, in a year, it won't really be around.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'd be worried about. Other than that, it'd be really cool to see it all. I feel like we can expect to see list building tools built into it. Is my assumption.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to. If it's going to be a paid
Right.
service, there better be. And
I just want all my things that are paid subscriptions for Warhammer. I just want it all to be here.
Yeah.
If we're going to do this, so that's kind of what I expect.
As far as future things go, I think the only thing they didn't announce that I would like to see is let's have a thing where if you have a subscription and you bought a book, like a battle tome or a codex, how about we get a code and we can scan it in the app?
Well, right now, if you buy a 40K codex,
For
you
now.
get a code.
For
Yeah.
now.
For now. At the moment, you do get your code for going into
And I hope we see that
continued. Yeah.
in AOS as well.
Yeah.
So I am of two minds of the Warhammer Plus. I think the way they put it out, or so it's not changing anything, no changes of any sort. It's fine. I don't think it's too expensive. It sounds like the right amount of content. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I have. There's more I want to watch in there than I do on Disney Plus or something like that,
Fair enough.
or Paramount Plus, or
Yeah.
Discovery Plus, or
Right. The other kind of offshoot ones that aren't the big ones. Yeah.
But here's my main concern that I feel like it's not. They don't have the wisdom of Techless on their side at this one here, and it's I think back to how I got into the hobby.
Mhm.
I got into the hobby by playing Dawn of War.
Right.
We're not, I mean, Warhammer is in a place where, yeah, we've broken that barrier, and now you can see something at Barnes and Noble or some other similar bookstore. But like,
It's not mainstream enough
right,
yet.
like you're not going to like run across the Wrath and Glory. You're not going to run across Soulbound somewhere in a bookstore. Um,
Right.
and so to have all of the cartoons that are coming out, or animations if you prefer,
Right.
like how easy would it be to have those on Netflix and have just a random nerd who likes anime or action
Just
movies
stumble across them.
stumble upon and be like, oh, because you like Castlevania, you might like
Yeah.
Angels of Death. Oh, what's Angels of Death? I think that sounds like a cool title. Oh, big super armored dudes in space shooting super bugs. Cool, man.
Yeah. No,
um,
I can't imagine how many times, like, friends that aren't really into the hobby, I sent them the Astartes video.
right,
I'm like, this is like lore stuff that's like, this is what a space marine does.
right, and like, and that's one of the things is like, a Stardate now is going to get more people into the hobby than all of these animations combined.
Yeah, because you don't have to pay to see it.
Right. Now, if they wanted to do something where, hey, exclusive, if you subscribe, you
Right.
can see these episodes a week early, okay.
Episode 1 of all of these is free. Anyone can come find it. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, because again, the way I see it is, out of all of, so let's just break it down to like 100 units is equivalent to the entire Warhammer fan base. If you were to get, let's say, 40% of that,
Hmm.
40 of those units to buy a subscription,
Right.
which again, I think it's probably going to be closer to like 35
Okay.
in a
I honestly
pessimistic,
don't know. Yeah.
like I said, in a pessimistic real, considering that, like, think of how many people, okay, because think about it this way: how many people do you think read the FAQs?
I guess you're right. We are kind of in the minority in that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, we might not know the specific numbers, but we know that we're the minority.
Yeah.
If you can't get someone to read the FAQs, you probably can't get them to pay $50 to watch Warhammer programming
Right.
on its own standalone app.
Yeah.
And again, same thing. Oh, well, what about tournament goers? Yeah, same thing.
Yep. Definitely in the minority.
Right.
Yeah.
Not like we're the hyper elite. Like if you did like
Yeah.
a 4-way grid, we're all up in the
Up in the one corner. Yep.
and so like your audience for for a subscription service is all up in this one corner. And you're not even going to get everyone in that corner to subscribe.
Yeah. Agreed.
Because again, I mean, think about all the high schoolers. I mean,
Yeah.
at what point in your life did you get to the point where you're like, oh, what, $60 for a year thingy? Sure, whatever, I don't care. Like, at
Yeah.
what
No, I
point
was
was
out of
it
college
like,
by that point.
right?
Yeah.
So now you're talking about, okay, well, now we have a cutoff point of like 25 and older.
Hmm.
And then you
Yeah.
also have the 25 to 30 who they'll get one and share it with 4 of their friends.
Yeah. You're right.
It, again, it's a cool idea, it's a cool premise. And again, all their pricing I think is fine,
Yeah. Agreed.
but like it's not a big enough reach. I
Yeah. It does bring in the question: how difficult would partnering with a Netflix or an Amazon have been to be like, hey, can we put our stuff on your site?
right, I mean, especially if you went to like an Amazon or something, or even again at that point if you wanted to go to the secondaries like Paramount Plus
Right. Yeah.
and be like, Look at how much money we made last year.
Yeah. Can we put up something with our IP on your service? Yeah.
Right. Um, and again, like I said, as long as they break even, they make money.
Agreed.
Because, like I
Agreed.
said, we're like, hey, and what's funny is like, if you show, because again, the only one I can think, Hammer and Bolter, that's another one. So
Yeah.
if you show you and I Hammer and Bolter, because each episode's supposed to be something different, you're
Right.
gonna gripe and grimace about some of them, you're gonna like other ones, and I'm gonna do the
Right.
same thing. If
Hmm.
you show it to a newbie, they're gonna love every single episode like it's the greatest thing that's ever been made.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
So like,
No.
you're even taking it away, you're gating it behind a paywall from the people who are going to enjoy it the most and the people that you're going to get the most money from.
Right.
So I mean, I
Yeah.
wish them well, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah. No, I want it to succeed. I don't know how much money they have put behind this,
Well, I mean,
but
well,
I
so
mean, there's a lot of animation that's going on right now, so it's not a small amount.
right now I don't know about American animation, but
Right.
I was watching a video a long time ago, so the numbers are probably different now. But you at least have a place as a jumping off point. They stated that a 25 episode series
Mhm.
using base material like a manga or something
Right.
is about $1 million.
Uh, yeah, it's quite a bit whenever we think of how many shows we're looking at right now.
Right.
Even
Um,
if we keep that number,
right.
because things have gone up in price over the years and all
Right.
that.
And again, like I said, I know we've gone over a couple of them. Like they've gone into a depth like the Angels of Death ones that are what between 15 and 20 minutes.
Yeah, I
Is that what
think
they were
so.
saying?
Yeah.
I was
Let
like,
me find it and I'll have a look. Yeah.
uh, yeah, because like that was honestly one of the things that like I don't know. I don't know if you ever watched Metalocalypse, but
I can't say I have.
I loved the show, and the only complaint I had was it was only 15-minute episodes
Okay.
at first. Eventually, they switched over to full half hours, but
Okay.
um, I'm like, I'm really going to be paying, was it $50 or $60 a year for 15-minute episodes? Was that
Yeah, really. Yeah. I mean, the idea is that there will be so many there. Now, Age of Sigmar players, a little less picking.
right?
Uh,
Right. Well, we're getting one show.
One, I forget, maybe two. And
I I
I
think
can't
there's
even remember.
I think there might be one, maybe two, and then there. I wouldn't be surprised if I think Hammer and Bolter might have
That might
a
have a
short
few
story or
that are,
two.
yeah. That might be what I'm thinking of, yeah.
Well, whatever. Like I said, I'm still excited for it. I'm still signing up for
Yeah,
it as soon as I can. I'm not desperate enough
yeah,
to
agree.
sign up for the 40K app.
Yeah, I am on the 40K app. I have yet to pay for the 40K app, put it that way. So it was once I opened it up and I went, I don't think paying for this is going to make it so much better that I'm going to want to pay for it. And I hate to say that,
I
but
don't
like,
know. I don't know anything about it,
right.
but I haven't heard anything good about it yet.
I don't have too much good to say about it. It's really not the most robust system out there, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And
Um, yeah, guys, you need to look at ye old battle scribe. Oh, I said it.
yeah, I
Oh,
hate to say it. Oh, yeah, no, they're never going to want to talk to us now.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. Oh, there goes partnership. Oh no,
Yep. Oh, no.
there goes our box set of Dominion right out the window.
Oh, no. Oh, wait. I don't think we ever got one of those.
Um, which, by the way, I don't know if you saw on the news today, Monday. They showed the three new boxes, and
Yeah.
the biggest box, which is smaller than Dominion, I think, has the new terrain
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
That new terrain better not be right around the corner because I do not want to buy another box. I do
No,
not
you don't
need.
want to?
I don't need any more Stormcast. I don't
I
need
hear
any
ya.
more.
I hear ya. Yeah, I know. Mine are
A,
still sitting all on sprue. I haven't even gotten
a
around to have the
third
time.
Lord Imperator is not needed.
No, I don't understand why not. I mean, you'll obviously, I don't know, never use three.
No, I will. I'll just
I
because of
mean, you'll
that.
have to now. You'll figure it out.
And so then I guess just to wrap this up because we don't want to go too long here.
Fair enough.
They showed the new Castle and Crow model.
Yeah,
What'd you think of
it's
him?
a. I am a fan of that new model. I really like it. Whatever is going on with that sword of his, I think looks really sweet,
Yeah,
and especially everything coming up and into his head getting plugged in there.
yeah.
That was a very nice touch,
Did
especially on the helmeted version.
yeah,
I was a fan of that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Did you read the article at all?
I did not get the chance to read the article. I just saw the model while I was at work
So
today.
they were talking about the sword,
Okay.
and so essentially that's a chaos blade.
Okay.
And like they're like he's the only person the Inquisition or the Imperium would trust to have that because at this point he's so strong, like he's so strong-willed and so steadfast that they just
Mhm.
think that he might be just immune to the warp. Like he might just be immune to
Oh yeah,
chaos.
it'll be fine.
And
Just
they're
let
like
him grab the big demon blade.
so like
What? Why is Castellan cutting everyone else in half?
but yeah, so apparently like as he wields it or as all times it's just constantly whispering to him and tempting him and
Oh, wonderful.
and he's just like no shut up.
Oh, damn.
So yeah, so
I
I
feel
don't
like I'd
know.
just lose my mind at some point and just hack at somebody and be like, "There, you happy now? Shut up."
Shut up! I did it. All right.
Yeah.
um, yeah, so we'll see. I mean, the article does really make it sound like we're just getting that one model and the codex, which is not what I was hoping for, but is what I was expecting.
Right.
Um,
Agreed.
it makes it easier to not start a Grey Knight army again.
Fair enough.
Restart my Grey Knight army.
Fair enough.
um, boy, man,
Yeah.
not to rehash the whole 40k episode,
Yeah.
but like, okay, so here's how I look at it. When do you think I'm going to get new Sacrosanct models?
New sacrosanct models.
Yes.
I would not hope for a long time. And if you're hoping, you're on a long list of people hoping for stuff.
Well,
Not
no,
just
that's
sacrosanct, but like
that's exactly what I'm
sacrosanct.
saying. Though is like
Exactly. Yeah.
I, I would expect that those models are going to be good for a decade,
Yep. Yeah. At
15
minimum,
years.
like 3 to 5 years. I'm gonna assume
Well, no, I'm
before
going to
we
say
get
like
new.
we're not going to like I can't imagine getting new sculpts anytime soon.
Okay. I'm
Um,
not saying new sculpts
that's what
entirely.
I'm
I'm saying
talking about. I'm talking
okay.
specifically new
I'm saying
sculpts.
like additional to the range, 3 to 5 years maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But
yeah, if we're gonna pick up and redo the whole thing, yeah, we're 10 to 15 out.
yeah, and that's where again a lot of 40k is Tau, Eldar. Finally we
Yeah,
got um, Imperial Guards finally getting their
a little
attention.
bit of a
The
refresh. Yeah.
orcs are absolutely gorgeous and amazing, and
Yes. Agreed.
everyone that told me we're not getting new boys, we're not getting new boys. Fuck you, we got new
Suck it.
boys.
Yep. Yeah, we did.
And I dropped my one for the episode, so
There you go. All right. It's a good thing you didn't last time we were recording.
um but yeah, I'm like I would sit there and go like, okay, well, I guess I want to start like I really want to start a Grey Knight army.
Mm,
If I pick those up, how long till I get new Grey Knights?
it's fair.
It
It's
could
fair.
be 10 years, it could be
Could be next year.
3
For all
years,
we know.
right? Like I said, I mean, it
Right.
could be 6 months. I mean,
Right. I mean, the way we've been getting so much love over in the OS department for
right.
the last little bit,
And this is like again,
it's weird.
I understand, I appreciate that they're focusing on AOS.
Right. Agreed.
Really, I do. So I'm not complaining at the end of the world. At
Right.
the end of the day, I'm not complaining about us getting attention over them. But
Yeah.
every time they go back to the 40k well, here's some new Space Marines.
Yeah. Here's some new Imperial, except for these orcs, which I'm okay
Right.
with. I mean, but yeah.
But I mean, we got so like if you go back, so let's go back to Primaris when Primaris first
Yeah.
came out. not including one-off models like Abaddon and stuff like that.
Right.
What did we get beyond Primaris leading, like from,
Since the Primaris have come?
we'll say from Primaris to before, like, so here's ninth edition,
Okay.
Primaris to here. What else did we get?
New Sisters.
Okay.
We got some new Adeptus Mechanicus models, I believe.
Was that just?
Not
Oh
the
yeah,
entire.
we got a little
few
bit, got a little
pieces.
bit.
Few pieces.
But we also like Skitari's already relatively new.
Right. Yeah, those were in 7th edition is when they
Yeah.
came out anyway. So they were pretty new. Yeah. I think we got a few more pieces for it. Not a whole lot else, I think.
And then ninth edition came out. We
Somebody was
got
yelling at me.
more Primaris and Necrons.
Yep, Primaris Necrons now works.
Now it works.
And then I think we had 2 dips of the Primaris well so far this.
Yeah, we got so 2 more things of Primaris and another thing of Sisters.
Yeah. Yeah. I own
Let's-
a couple of. I own an Eldar army. It looks dated, even though it's all the
Yeah.
current models.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, again, I mean, especially whenever you put it next to the Yanari.
right.
And that's one of the things that I don't mind older models. What drives me up a wall is whenever it's older models next to new models.
Yeah, next to really good looking stuff too.
Right. Like, and so that's one of the reasons why I have a problem with Primaris next to Terminators, Primaris next to Old Boy Tech Guard, and again going Primaris next to Eldar, Primaris next to Tau.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right now we have. I feel like we have the horse in the cart.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying.
And like, hey horse, whatever you want to do, man. Whatever you want to do, horse. Just it's fine.
Whatever you're feeling like,
You
go
wanna
for
poop
it.
in the court? We'll take it out. It's no big deal. Like, we need to, and again, I know they don't want to limit their artists or whatever, but
Mhm.
as someone who I consider myself to be somewhat creative, I'm actually more creative when I have a set criteria.
Mhm.
Like, so one of the shows that we watch every week is Lego Masters.
Okay.
Last week was, here's a brick suspended from the ceiling. Make
Okay.
something. And I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like the week before was make a hat. Okay, I can do a couple ideas
do
for it.
that,
Like,
yeah.
okay, hat. All right, so someone goes on
But
a
just
hat.
make something.
Right,
Where do I start?
right. So you need to sit your artists down, your sculptor boys and your sculptor girls, and you'd be like, okay, we have Eldar that can drink.
Yeah.
Go read a bunch of Eldar or go read a bunch of Eldar books, or even better yet, who likes Eldar? You like Eldar?
Right.
Go read some Eldar books. Think
Yep.
about some Eldar shit. Come back to me in a month.
Yeah.
Like, if you can come up even with a style, then okay, this is what we're looking
Right.
for.
Have something to start with. Yeah.
Right. Like, this whole, like, just do whatever you want, man, and then, like, oh, look, it has, like, a
I'm sure
dangly
that's
bit on
not
the belt.
100% what it is, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. I feel like we're focusing on the poster boys a little much.
Well, I mean, again, like, so whenever I did all those, the meeting, like all of, like the Q&A stuff and all everything with GW whenever they first came out, they expressly said that basically they let the artists make what they want.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
again, like you said, there has to be a certain point because again,
Right.
someone
Yeah.
eventually came to them and said, "Dudes, we're doing sisters."
Right. Yeah. Somebody eventually said, "Hey, I understand that you might have wanted to do this, but it's going to be Sisters of Battle, and this is kind of the look we want to go for."
Right. And
So,
they need to start doing that on a constant basis.
right.
Because, like I said, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why we haven't gotten an official humans army for AOS yet.
Might be it. Yeah. Nobody wants to do regular old humans. They want to do something weird.
Right. And like, and I wonder because again, the it seems like the current moniker that comes out, the rally cry before every army is, "Let's get weird with it."
Yeah.
And
And I mean, you
anything,
can do humans weird.
yeah. But well, I don't necessarily want weird humans. At least
Ah,
not my order main humans.
okay.
But I think they certainly took the rails off whenever they did decide to do the new Cruel Boys.
Yeah, that they did. That they did.
Here's
I
some weird rapey swamp monster. Have fun with it.
Yeah. Hey, I really do enjoy the way they made those orcs look, though.
Oh, perfect.
The
Like
faces are great on
I
those.
I forget who said it. Again, we were at Neil's whenever whenever the reveal was going on. But as soon as they
Yeah.
were done, we were like, oh, it was like a silence. One person's like, well, them Cruel Boy stocks just went up.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
All right. Yeah, like I said, I think we better wrap this one up because now we're going to like
Yeah. We're
get a
already
little far
going
here.
over.
All right, everyone. If there is anyone still out there listening, I don't know how you did it. I don't know if I could listen to myself talk that long.
I know I can't listen to myself talk that long.
Cole, you got any shout outs or anything?
Not today. Not at the
No
moment.
more? All right. Well, just, no, I can't. Nope, that's copyrighted. Nope.
Nope.
I was going to say just do it, but I can't. It's Nike. It's not a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. I'm just, I'm just
Get a
going to,
hobby in. Just whatever you're doing.
yeah, I'm just going to end the show.
All right.
Just gonna end it.
Bye bye.